That's for sure. Okay. Here we go. All right. We're here. Praise God. All right. Look, everything's working pretty good, I think, as far as I can tell, except I don't have this on. Would be nice. All right, everybody, we're here tonight. Good to be here tonight with everybody. We are ready to go. Thank you, Jesus, for everything you're doing. What's going on, everyone? What do you want to talk about tonight? I have my own things I want to talk about. Sure. If you have some things you would like to ask questions about, we can try to answer those questions if you want. All right. Yeah, really, really cool. All right. Okay. Let's start out with all kinds of things here. How about that? How about we just kind of start out with something? Okay. Let's go here to. Where did it go? Okay, new rabies. There you go. All right. Um, wow. Where do we start with all this? We've had so much going on as of lately, and for those of you who don't keep up that much, maybe you won't understand some of this tonight, but I want to talk just for a moment about how we got to where we are at this point, as far as some of the words that were given about Biden, and I want to talk specifically about some of that tonight with the new information we have about what's going on with him, and um, and what we now know was going on with him, and why God chose him to be the person who he wanted to be in the White House at the time, because of his mental condition, if you will. And we're going to talk about that tonight a little bit, and some new things, some new information that we have about it that's going to help you understand why we are where we are today, and what was developing, and what God intervened with. So, if you want some of that information tonight, we're going to try to get it to you as quickly as possible. Um, okay. All right. So how did we get here? How did the doors get opened up where we can be where we are with Israel, um, with everything? How did it all? What was the buildup, and why did Biden play such a role in that? In that he was. Okay, we'll just leave it right there. Um, the role that Biden played in it, and why he was important, an important role. Most people still don't understand this to this day, why he was there. But I'm going to share a little bit with you tonight about that. Some stuff you've never heard before, or at least I've never heard of it before. So maybe it'll be new for you. Um, okay, so here we go. And we had I'd gotten a word back in 2000. When was it? 2014? Was it 2014? Somewhere in there. I have it documented. But we gave a word that Joe Biden would be president of the United States of America. Of course, that was back then, and of course he wasn't for a while. But we did say that publicly and announced it prophetically. And so, of course, we all thought I thought it was going to probably back then, but it wasn't. And so, he was much younger then, and in 2004, I think it's 2014. I had to look at the exact date, but he was much more healthy, right? Much smarter, if you will. And so the reason that uh, things went on the way they did and got to where they are today is because God wanted this. I just understood this today. Okay, so God wanted him to be in the mental state that he was in, being old, not being mental, not being crazy, but being in the state of mind that he was in, because and that's why right now the reason that they're trying to prove uh, that Joe Biden was not capable of running another 4 years, and the last year or so of his presidency, why he was not, why somebody else should have taken over then, or something should have happened. And so I'm going to explain to you tonight why that happened, and why they didn't get him out, and why um, he was supposed to be in there those 4 years, because God was using him to what is now being proclaimed as they're calling it the auto pen. Anybody ever heard of the auto pen? Have you heard of the auto pen? Let's go here for a second. I think I have it here somewhere. Yeah, it's called the auto pen. AUTOPEN. Anybody ever heard of that? Okay, in case you haven't, I'm going to explain it to you today. I had not heard the terminology until actually today, honestly, for the first time. As far as I paid attention to what they were saying when they said that auto pen is something that it's a device that that uses a robotic arm to physically replicate a signature. In other words, if you wanted to have your own signature replicated professionally and done really good, you would have a robotic arm to physically replicate the signature, often used by individuals who need to sign documents frequently, including U.S. presidents. It's not a digital signature or a stamp, right? In other words, it's not a stamp or a digital signature. I have a digital signature on my stuff that I can easily just put it on there. All right, but this is not a digital signature, nor is it a stamp that is used. It is a called AutoPen, AUTOPEN. That's how I spell it. Uh, so it is actually a device that's used to make Joe Biden's signature. We're going to talk about Joe Biden tonight, or it could be your signature, anybody's signature. If you wanted it, if you signed a lot of documents, and you wanted instead of you writing every one of them, you have what you call an auto pen, which is like I said, is a robotic device. Okay, there you go. All right, so it replicates your signature exactly, and it's often used by people who sign a lot of documents quite frequently, including U.S. presidents. So the reason that Biden was uh, having what they did with this auto pen and this robotic arm with his signature was that the far left, Donald Trump says he doesn't know who did it, but somebody big had this done where, because he says, you hear Trump talking, he says, I know Joe Biden. Joe Biden didn't believe in a lot of things that he was signing off. He didn't believe in a lot of things that he was signing off on. So why was he signing off on it? Well, now they're bringing up the auto pen, which they're about to bring out, I think, some evidence on all this, that it was something that, uh, that he never signed these documents, but they got the auto pen, this little robotic arm, to sign whatever documents in that they wanted for the purpose of actually bringing down America. That was their purpose. Of course, we know Joe Biden would probably not want to bring down America, but he was a pretty reasonable person in a lot of ways. He was a Democrat. I'm not a Democrat. Never been a Democrat. Uh, a lot of cool. We have a lot of friends that are Democrats. So, but the thing is that what they did was that they used this auto pen to sign a lot of documents for him that he probably would have never signed himself, but it was being used because of they wanted to get their agenda done. And Donald Trump has said, I don't know who in the world did this, but it's somebody he considers to be evil, right? He considers this person, whoever they are, to be evil. So take that for whatever you will. Evil, just bad intention people, whatever. But he said it was somebody really. All right, so I don't think I had my microphone up there good. Let me do that again. There we go. I didn't have my microphone up there good for the phone calls. Here we go. Okay. So sorry about that, y'all. I didn't know I wasn't in there good. You have to kind of let me know sometime. Uh, so I think when I tried to do that, it messed it up. All right. Anyway, so we are here and we're talking about this right now because this is a really important subject, because I'm just now for the first time really realizing why he had me prophesy that in 2014. And then, um, when Trump and the election was going on between him and Biden, they were talking about all kinds of things going on. And I said, well, I told people, I said, Joe Biden's going to be president. Donald Trump is not going to be president anymore. And I had people texting me right here from PGN and saying, are you trying to tell us or tell me that Donald Trump is not going to make it? Because they all believed that he was. And I said, no, I've got it all all the text on my phone to prove it. And I said, no, Donald Trump is not getting back in. And so, of course, they kept saying Donald Trump's going to get back in. Donald Trump's going to get back in. He never get back in, not even close. And so it was all just a bunch of, fluff or whatever. And so Joe Biden got in. And if you guys remember, when the Spirit of God spoke to me, just like I'm talking to you, except it was, really the fear of God came on me. And the day that they announced that he won the election on November the 7th, I believe, the 7th or the 11th. It was, I think it was Saturday. I think it's the 7th of November, I believe. Anyway, whatever day it was that they announced that he won the election, though in January he would seal it and be signed in. But so on that day, when I woke up and I realized he won, and I told my wife many times, that Donald Trump is not going to make it. Donald Trump is not going to make it this time. And she just was not happy about that until I showed her a few things, and then she kind of was a little bit convinced, because it was really hard to believe. And so the very day that he got it was announced that he won the election, and I was laying on the bed, and I turned on the TV, and they said he won, and I went, and the fear of God hit me from my belly area and said, everything I've told you, Randy, is now going to come to pass. Some of y'all remember that. I've talked about it many times, but I want to put together with something tonight. Everything I told you is going to now come to pass, right? And the things he told me about was the Antichrist. He told me about the temple. He told me about the two witnesses. He told me about the financial, the man-made financial collapse. So we're watching that develop now. That's kind of what's happening. It's a slow process. I'm looking for like next year, 2026, May, June, July, somewhere in there. I may have a more specific date here soon, but anyway, somewhere in there, we're going to see the beginnings of, or the manifestation of a new currency. This whole new currency thing that we've been talking about with Texas and all that is going to be manifested about in that time. I don't know how far it's going to be manifested, but it's going to be made known that they now have a new system, or it is in progress, and they're going to make it known somehow or another. It will be made known. All right, in those dates somehow. So so if it's a week before that, or a week after that, somewhere in that time period. So anyway, so Joe Biden got elected, right? And so after a while, people began to realize that he wasn't being his normal self, right? And so they got doctors, they looked at him, nobody really knew about it. He wasn't passing the test. He wasn't coherent enough to be running the country. So what they did with the auto pen, this little robotic arm, is that the people who were running the whole thing behind closed doors were having his signature, using his signature, the auto pen, to sign his autograph on things, because that's a very official. You have to, just like Donald Trump's always showing how he signs something and he shows it, lets everybody look at it and go, "I just signed it." And also the signature is very important for legal purposes, because those things, the things that the president approves of, are extremely important, and they have to be legal, and the handwriting has to be right, and or else it'll be called false and have to be done again or something. So when whoever it was, Donald Trump says, and I really believe that he knows that there's some person, some powerful person behind the president at that time, Biden, was using this robotic arm, the auto pen, to sign these whatever the documents that is supposed to be being signed and agreed to by the president of the United States. Was not being agreed to by the president of the United States. They were signing it off with what is called the auto pen, AUTOPEN, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So now I understand for the first time that that the reason that God chose Biden was because of the very fact that he couldn't make those decisions, and therefore the decisions that whoever this person was, or these people were that were making the decisions and then having the auto pen, the robotic arms, sign off on these, was trying to take down America. I mean, you listen to Trump talk about it, and I prophesied this, so I believe it. Right, I prophesied this stuff by the Spirit of God. The government being taken down, being the sovereignty being taken over, and so now that we understand, now I understand more of that God did not want Joe Biden to be coherent. He chose Joe Biden to be in office when he was, because he wasn't going to be coherent, and that they could take advantage of him, and they could use this auto pen to do what he would not have done in his mental state, at his normal mental state. And now they're getting their way. It was very strategically done, in the fact that they were getting their way behind the scenes, signing off documents looking like Joe Biden did it. When you hear Donald Trump said, I've known Joe Biden for years. He didn't believe in a lot of things he was approving of, and nobody could figure out why he's approving of that stuff. I mean, you got Republicans and you have Democrats who all believe differently, but some of the stuff that was being signed off on, Trump was going like, I know Biden doesn't believe in that stuff. So he's really wasn't trying to take it for Biden as much as he was saying something sinister was going on. And because I prophesied it, I believe it. So when I heard this just today for the first time, I think I don't know what channel it was, but it was Trump talking. He was at some place talking to a group of people, so it was amazing. And so I'm going like, that is why, because God wanted to take the next level of everything going on with Israel, and a lot of things that went on in Israel. Biden was president when Israel went in to Iran and took down all their abilities to fight any airplanes coming over there airspace. I mean, that was done under Biden. That was not done under Trump. That was done under Joseph Biden. And I remember when it happened. Some of you may have paid attention to those news articles, news shows, but that happened. They flew over there and they bombed a bunch of Iranian sites, headquarters and different things, because what they were doing in layers is they were getting ready for a regime change. That's where the regime change where it's going, so that Israel could have peace, so Israel could build their temple. So let's understand why that was all going on and how God was even using even Biden's inability to comprehend what's going on. They were the overall Democratic Party was many of them loved. They're Jews. Many of them love Israel. They have different ideas about Israel, but they love Israel, and so they believe that Iran is bad for everybody. So because they believe Iran is bad for everybody, they were because Israel had the capabilities of going in there and removing the forces and all the headquarters and all the sites that were when U.S. later came over and put the bunker busting bomb in there and went down deep, that they never even had any problems with being shot at or anything. You know why? Because during Biden that happened. That didn't happen during Trump's. That happened during Biden. And so I'm not giving credit or taking credit. I'm just trying to tell you the truth of what really went on. And then, of course, now it was set up, and we talked about this on the show, how that during Biden's administration that they did that before Trump ever got in. But then, of course, now it's being layer by layer. They're going in there and they're going to take over Iran. What does that have to do with us? It has everything to do with us. It has everything to do with the Bible. These are definite prophetic prophecies being unlocked. And the whole Middle East changes everything with everybody. And if you don't believe that, you will maybe soon find that out. The Middle East, when it changes things for everyone. So I wanted to release that. The main thing I'm trying to say tonight to you is that why I was always asking God, why did you have me say that Biden was going to be president? And then he didn't make the presidency until he was, really so old that he barely made it through the first one. Why did you want him to be incapacitated? Why? I mean, I was asking God that, and he told me that. It's a documented fact. And so I was really asking God, what is going on with this? And the Lord just, started showing me why today, basically, because he wanted the escalation of the end times. He wanted the escalation of the end times. That's what God wanted. And some of you don't like that, but when I say the escalation of the end times, people go, "Oh man, he wants trouble and he wants war and he wants all." No, what I'm saying is the coming of Jesus. That's why all this stuff matters to you if you're a believer. That's why it all matters, friend. It's because if you're a believer, this is all about the coming of Jesus. Now, this is a really hard subject for people to actually go, "Oh my God, it's actually happening," when we've been told so many times about it. But it's never been so exact as this time in this season. It has never been like this, ever. So Biden was used, as we said. I told you that Joe Biden would be used to take down the sovereignty of the United States of America. And so when this document signing auto pen done by a robotic arm that could, anytime that these people wanted to, whether Joe Biden realized what was going on or not, they would just sign something in, right? And some of the things they did were, you can see they were doing exactly what we said they were going to be doing. Is during his administration, is taking down the sovereignty of the United States of America. That's what was actually happening. So when I heard Trump talking about this today, I'm going like, the auto pen. What's the auto pen? I never even heard of that in my life. Maybe you guys have, but I have not. And so I played really close attention. Then I did some research on it, auto pen, and sure enough, it came up with this understanding that these individuals, whoever were doing this, they would have not been able to take the sovereignty of the United States of America down as far as they did if Joe Biden would have been coherent. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you can see the strategy of the Lord trying to bring this the United States down. Of course, we've always said that when it goes down, God's going to bring it back, and America's going to be great, just not great like it used to be. So it's we're going to see how that all works out, right? So we've always said America's going to be great. We just said that it wasn't going to be quite the big that it has been. It's going to be smaller, and because of that, it's going to be all this stuff has had to happen through Biden. Biden was very strategically used when he didn't even know he was being used, but God was using him. And I've had him and some of his people say, no, we're not trying to take America down, but they were. But they were doing it because they thought it was the right thing, not because they were trying to do something demonic or something evil. They really believe that this is best for America and for the globe, so that the global system can come in. And so now it is. Now a lot of things have happened, and we're going to talk about that off and on as we go. Now a lot of things have happened concerning the prophecies that we've been given about a whole new system, two systems actually coming into play. Now it's set up to where it can do that. Israel is about to take over. Now, Trump did a great job in the bunker busting bombs after Israel attacked the Iran's nuclear sites, and then the U.S. went in behind them without even being shot at or anything, because Israel had done that. They had prepared the way for the U.S. to come do that, and they asked them to come, and they did. And so it was a great thing. Maybe they might do some more work with that. I don't know if it's done or not, but that was also a prophetic word that we got specifically 13 months ago, 14 months ago now. 14 months ago, we said specifically that Israel was going to bomb the nuclear sites of Iran, and it would be like an earthquake going on. You remember all that? Okay. So now that has literally come to pass. And then the next phase that we gave you, as we've said many times before, is that the next step, which has to do with the coming of Christ and going to bring things to a point, is Iran being taken over by the Iranian regime being taken down and being replaced with a government that is not religious, that is secular, a secular government, just like Azerbaijan. And now Azerbaijan, they're having meeting the Syrian leader and I think the Syrian leader in Israel were meeting today. And guess where? Azerbaijan. There's a lot of things going on right now that's finally coming out of the news a little bit now that Iran is a little bit under control by Israel and the U.S., mainly Israel and Mossad and all those guys. Now that they're kind of under control, you're going to start hearing what I told you on April or May the 20th, 2024, not 2025, May the 20th, 2025. One day after the president of Iran went down in the helicopter. All right, we told you. Here's the strategy. They're going to be taking over the Iranian regime through Azerbaijan, partially through Azerbaijan. All right. So what's happening? Nobody was talking about that. Nobody even knows about Azerbaijan. Nobody was talking about the Iran. We always talk about taking regimes down that are bad. Everybody's always talking about regimes being taken down, but there was nothing specifically saying that Iran regime is going to be taken down and how. And we gave that word right here on PGN. So the reason that God is revealing what God has been using the prophetic realm here at PGN for, very specific information being given that is not just how the whales are doing or whatever, but specifically Bible prophecy words that are in the prophetic realm of the Bible, of prophecies that have been studied for hundreds and thousands of years. Hundreds and thousands, too many years, a lot of years, a long time. All right. So yeah. So when you realize that, it's really amazing. All right. So today I found out I think Jeannie sent me something on this. I think it was Jeannie. It might have been Glenn or Jeannie, one of the two, sent me something on saying they offered up a red heifer today, and as they were offering it up, they found some black hairs or whatever. And anyway, it's officially documented now. Thank you for Glenn and for Jeannie sharing it with me. Thank you guys. I did not know that had gone on. They sent me information, so I had it checked out, or had other people check it out. And so it's pretty well documented fact that they did have a practice run of the red heifer. They actually offered up a red heifer. That wasn't the red heifer. It's the red heifer that went out that was disqualified about five months ago, something like that, several months ago. The one that was disqualified, the latest one that was disqualified. So they took that one and they did a practice run, right? They did a practice one. It's really amazing. And so now the red heifer, now all of a sudden the red heifer ceremony and all that and all the red heifer stuff is now about to explode and come forth, in the next few weeks, the next few months. Uh, okay, Glenn said it happened on the 8th of July. All right. Yeah. I remember you're the one of the ones that sent me the information. Thank you for that. Yes, he says it happened for Prophecy Watch with Glenn. Says it happened on the 8th of July. They actually offered up they did a test run. I told one of my friends, I said, check it out with Byron Stinson. I said, I didn't want to do it personally. I said, check it out with Byron Stinson, and let's make sure that that's right. And so they did, and Jeannie did that for me, and because she was telling me about it. I said, well, I'm not sure. Have you got confirmation? You live in my world, you get confirmation for everything, right? If you can. And so I told her, can you check with Byron Stinson on Facebook, because he's on Facebook all the time. Can you ask Jeannie? Can you ask Byron Stinson if that really happened before I talk about it on the show? And so she said she tried and he wasn't getting back with her. And then all of a sudden she said one of his friends got back with her and said it is true. I got that email from her today. I think today. Yeah, today. I believe it was today. There's a lot of things going on here. Uh, yeah, she says one of Byron's friends, because I told her, she texted me about it. I said, thanks. Do we have legit info on this? I said, get on Facebook and ask Byron. I would think he has heard about it or the rumor of it, to get confirmation. So she did. She said, I asked Byron and haven't heard from him yet. It was several sites though, whatever that means. I'm not sure what that means. I said, okay. So she gets, so yesterday at yesterday night at 8 p.m., 8:11 p.m., she texts me back. She says, one of Byron's friends said it did happen and that it was a practice run on a cow or a red heifer that did not qualify. That was what I had heard. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we do have some confirmation on that was real and that was not just some rumor. Okay. So thank you, Jeannie, for going to that. I didn't want to, I could have texted him myself, I guess. I just said, I thought Jeannie was interested in it. I said, I see you on Facebook, showing him your cows or showing your cows. So why don't you do it for me if you don't mind? And so she did, and she found out from a friend of Byron Stinson's on Facebook. You can get on Facebook and probably talk to Byron if you want. I don't know if he probably has a lot of people with him. So anyway, you can try. But you can get on Facebook and look at Byron Stinson. He's right there. And so that's what she did. And sure enough, we found out that it's right. Okay. Okay. Awesome. So here's the really big thing about the red heifer. The red heifer is a timing situation. People say, "Oh, it can't happen for we're looking at a couple of years at the most of the building of the temple, maybe less than that." And we have the water situation, the cleansing situation going on. Let me hang on a second. Yeah, the Pool of Shalom. I'm trying to find it here. The Gihon Spring, I'm sorry. Pool of Shalom, same thing. Uh, so we have this. This is one of the important things that we have to have. You know, it's almost it's it's really important. And so I have information on this now that and so it's on the I'm not going to talk about it tonight. I'm not ready to talk about it tonight. But it is the Pool of Siloam. Thank you, Glenn, for that. We'll be finished ahead of temple for purification. What do you mean ahead of the Pool of Siloam? Will be finished ahead of temple for pure. What are you talking about? What do you mean it will be finished ahead? I mean, you want to make that more clear? All right. So what we're looking at is the Pool of Siloam. The issue is whether the Muslims mosque has to be torn down, which I did hear will leave alone and build the temple elsewhere on the mount. Yeah, Byron is. I think Byron has said. I think right now they're trying to be really careful what they say about all that. Um, let's talk about that for a moment, okay? Um, I don't know that I know it's going to have to be torn down or not, but here's a possibility with the mosque being torn down. Uh, yeah, they are restoring the pool. Exactly. They're actually restoring the pathway that goes to the that will be going to the temple. Right? Are you familiar with all that? They've been doing it for quite a while, actually. Uh, since I don't know what year it was. It's been a while. They found the they were digging and just happened. God just happened to lead them, and they found the underground, the hidden things that were underground. They saw the steps that led to the pool and the whole thing. It's really amazing story. I'm going to talk about it when I'm more ready to talk about it. But yeah, they are restoring it. They're actually building the pathway. They kept the old stairs the way they were back in the days of Rome when Rome tried to tear it up. They got the stairways that go to the pool are the same old stones that they had. They wanted to make sure and keep that original, but they're trying to finish up the the pathway where people before they go to the temple they have to go to the pool of Siloam and get cleansed, and then they all can walk down the pathway to the temple and go worship God. And so that is being done. That you're right, that is being restored, and will be done in about a year and a half or so, something like that. So about the time that they get the temple ready, um, but by the time the temple is put together, see, you have to understand we're talking about something that is in Revelations 11, where the two witnesses show up, where the Antichrist is going to show up. Y'all realize that? That's what we're actually talking about. This is actually happening. This is what's mind-boggling, that this is actually happening. They've actually been restoring that for a few years now, and it's close to being finished, but it is not finished yet. And so, about the time, and in the next year, about a year and a half from now, once they will have the pathway that goes from the Pool of Siloam, which is the original pool in the city of David, it's in the city of David, believe it or not. The pool of Siloam is in the city of David, and they're building. They found it in the city of David a few years ago, and now they're restoring the pathway, the exact pathway to that leads to the temple, so that the people can once the red heifer and all that has been taken care of, then the people can build the temple, and then once they build the temple, the people go there to be cleansed to go to the temple. Yeah, it really is amazing. Angel says amazing. Hello, Anya from Maine. I think it's Anya. Yeah, it's really really cool. This is actually happening, y'all. This is something they haven't had a red heifer for 2,000 years. Do y'all realize that they haven't had a red heifer for 2,000 years? They've had five, and now I think they have three for sure. What happened on July the 1st, 2025? Mariposa, what happened on July the 1st, 2025? You're talking about the the red heifer practice? Somebody might want to check that out for sure. We got somebody saying July the 8th. and then we have somebody else saying July the 1st. So I don't know for sure. I haven't actually double checked that information. So thank you for bringing that up, Mariposa. Yeah. So somebody get me. Let's get some more confirmations on that. I haven't really. Okay, Mariposa saying yes. It was July the 4th, 2025. So anybody else want to contradict that or have any evidence of anything other than that? So so this is really really an amazing thing, and it's a beautiful thing because it is if anything the you know it is a sign of where we are at, y'all. That's why it's important for you if you're a believer. That doesn't have anything to do with me over here. All the you know like Iran being taken over by you know the old regime being tore down. That doesn't mean much for me. Friend, it means everything because they cannot build that temple if there's people trying to attack them all the time. You understand? You remember what they said on October the 7th? One of the reasons that they attacked when they did on October the 7th is because they had a red heifer ready to be offered up in November. So on October the 7th, they attacked. They said this is what they said. They attacked on October the 7th because they knew that Israel had red heifers, and they knew that they were ready in October, and they were going to be ready in November. This is in October, right? So they attacked on October the 7th, which is my birthday, and when they attacked, um, they came out later and said the reason we did that is because it ticked them off. They could have done it anytime, I guess, but they did it at that time because they knew in November. So what did they do? They started trouble. They started, trouble. A time of trouble began on the time of trouble began on October the 7th. I really believe, I don't have a documented fact on that. Okay, multiple sources say it's the 8th. So maybe Mariposa is wrong. I don't know. Anyway, we'll find out more about that. Mariposa, thank you for that. And Glenn, thanks for checking up on that for me. He says multiple sources say it happened on the 8th. I have it on the 7th. I got the information I got. It was done on the 7th of July. So somewhere in there, right? Red Heifer practice 1 was July the 7th. So I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, we're close. We're close to it. So thank you for that information. And I got July the 7th on on the information that I have. So there you go for that one. All right. So where was I going with all that? I was trying to explain to you why Iran being taken over, because Iran is the one that's feeding all these other groups that are trying to surround Israel and take them down, right? Hamas in Gaza, all of them, all the ones that are surrounding Israel and been bombing them. All those people, all those enemies of Israel have been being fed by Iran. So once Iran, with all the money, with all the oil, the regime is replaced, then they can't feed those people that are creating havoc around Israel. So then they can build their temple, and that's why this is extremely important and a prophetic word that we gave right here 14 months ago, right here on the show. We said on May the 20th, 2024, not 2025, 2024, that when the Iranian president went down in that helicopter, I came out and I said, okay, I'm going to break it out. I'm going to open it up now because now they've opened it up so I can open it up. So I opened up and I said, I may get in trouble for this one, but the reason that this is going on May the 20th, 2024, was because they were fixing to take down the Iranian regime. That was the signal for that. We gave that right here. Yeah, 2024, May the 20th, 24. If you don't believe, you can listen to our shows on May the 20th, 24, and all the other ones. If you want the dates of the shows that we said these things, I've got to give them to you. You have to go in on your phone, and you can't get the app on your computer. You have to get your phone and get the app on your phone, and it's called the app you have to get these shows I'm telling you about that we said this stuff, which is all documented. Nothing's been edited. Nothing's been changed. You can take it to the bank. You can take it to the court system. Nothing's been touched. We said this stuff, as most of you heard, but you can go through, get the app on your phone. The app is called platform is called Spreaker, not speaker, but Spreaker, Spreaker.com. Spreaker, 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 Spreaker.com. You have to do it on your phone because if you do the computer one, it only lets you get a few of the archives. You have to go get it on your phone for some reason. I don't know why. All right, so download that app if you want to get that. And you can go listen. I sent that show to Glenn. Glenn couldn't get on. He said, Randy, I'm on my computer, man. I can't get it on here. So I said, yeah, but you have to get it on your phone, dude. I did the same thing as he did. I was trying to get it on my computer because it's a lot easier. So I had to download one more app on my phone. And so I went to Spreaker, Spreaker, and I did that. So the Spreaker.com is what has it. So you just search for Randy Chandler or PGN and go to that date, right? And you'll find it. You'll see exactly what we said. Everything we're saying, we said it. And it's been documented. And that was 14 months ago, about 14 months ago. And said specifically. So what are they talking about now? Every day they're talking about it one way or the other in different places about the takeover of the regime. And even the U.S. is when he was talking, even when President Trump was talking with Benjamin Netanyahu a few days ago on when he was at the White House, Benjamin Netanyahu was at the White House. They said, "Oh, well, we can't be careful. We don't get in on that next phase." It's going down everywhere, man. Yeah, we gave that right here on PGN. That just shows you that what the Lord is showing us here at PGN, and that's just one of many, 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 many things. One of many. So the reason that the Iran thing is important is because once they get cut off and they can't, and the new regime and the new leadership, the new king, the new prince of Iran, which is the Shah that went down in '79, his son. I saw an interview with his mother today. His mother is saying people are defecting. The IRGC are defecting. The Iranian, regime, military are defecting right and left. And she's leaving a message. Contact us. We will help you. Yeah, this is literally going on, y'all. Literally. Why is that important? I'm going to tell you why it's important. The reason that they're going to have to take over that regime is because as long as this is going on with Iran feeding all of the enemies of Israel, from Hamas to whatever they are, all around Israel that are bombing them and trying to take them over constantly, it's because they can't build the temple, and they're going to and they're ready to build the temple. So as soon as that peace comes to Persia or Iran here in the next few weeks, next few months, however long it takes, that then they're going to be able to build the temple. Why? Because they're going to have peace. Iran's not feeding all those enemies all around Israel all the time. They're going to starve to death with military. They don't have anything to shoot. They don't have any money. Plus, Gaza's been taken over. Yeah. So anyway, here we go. All right. So we're talking about Hezbollah. The Hezbollah is a military group that they've been, Israel's been taking them down. They've been a real pain to Israel, right? They're now basically wiped out. Gaza, Hamas, which has been a big problem in Gaza, has now been wiped out, or being wiped out. It's being finished up right now. Why is all this stuff happening at the same time? Because they're getting ready to build the temple. Because it's going to create peace, right? And especially what's really big is getting Iran down, because when Iran is no longer in power, they're not going to have any money. Those people are not going to have any more money anymore. So what's going to do? All of a sudden, it's going to be peace in Jerusalem. Peace, peace. Well, for not long, but for a little while. Then the temple's going to get built after the red heifer situation. You guys know about that. We were right in the middle of the red heifer thing, which is really another sign that most of you have been listening to this for a while. But if you haven't been listening for a while, We're right in the middle of the red heifer thing, big time. Uh, yeah, so I'll talk about that later. But uh, the people that raised the red heifer were friends of mine for many years. Live right down the street here, a few miles, maybe 15 miles, something like that. I don't know how far it is, but it's not far. But I've been to their house. I've known them for years. Didn't have a clue they were raising a red heifer. I was going to church prophesying to these guys' family for years. He gave it to my ministry for years. Been on our show a couple times. Yeah. And I've known these people, for a long time and didn't have a clue they were doing the red heifer. They were the ones who supplied the red. They're the Texas boys that supplied the red heifer to Israel for free. They could have sold it for millions. I think the Houston people, which didn't work out, their heifer didn't stay red, but they charged them, I don't know, a lot of money for their red heifer. But my friends, they didn't charge them anything. Didn't charge them a thing. Byron, who's the one Brian Davenport, who's I've known for many years. I talked to him I talked to him not too long ago, and talked to him off and on. Him and his wife have been friends for a long time, and gone to the same church since 2005. I prophesied to him and his family since 2005. I was a house prophet of the church I was at, and that's where they went to church. Little did I know that I'm right there with the guy who's growing the red heifer, and he didn't know he was right there with the guy who's going to be doing what we do prophetically. He didn't have a clue. He knew I prophesied, but he didn't know he prophesied about all this stuff. And God had shown me in 2007, 2008 about all that stuff and a lot more, and I'm going to share it eventually as God gives me the grace. All right. Glenn says Prophecy Watch she recalls that Obama sent a few pallets of money, of cash, to Iran when he was in power. Yes, 1.7 billion in 2016. That surely helped Iran do all this. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm not sure what Obama was doing exactly. He was kind of friendly toward people he wasn't really friendly toward Israel. I mean, he did betray Israel. I gave a word about that back when he was a president. I gave a word that he was going to betray Israel, and he did. Now, he may have gotten that right. He may not have understood what he was doing. I don't know. I'm not trying to demonize Obama. I like Obama, but he definitely had some drawing toward all that was rather scary, actually, in my eyes. Okay, so here we're talking about the word we gave in 2024, May the 20th, 2024. Go get on your phone, go to Spreaker, listen to it for yourself, right there. Document it. That this regime change was what was next after the destruction of the bombing of their nuclear sites, which we gave that word also. Gave both those words in the same night. And that was that night I gave that. If you want to look that up when you get on there, is April the 15th. April the 15th on a Monday in 2024. I gave both those words in 2024, not 2025, 2024. We said that Israel was going to bomb Iran's nuclear. That's never been done ever. In fact, there's only one other nuclear site that's ever been bombed, and that's when Israel bombed Iraq in 1980 something or something like that. They bombed their nuclear site. You don't know about that? Only time a nuclear site's ever been bombed. Israel did them both, right? So I gave a word. It just shows you how unique this word is and how God was, showing me stuff, and we talked about it right here. I said it right here on the show that that was going to happen, and said the two words together, because once the attack on the sites happened, on the nuclear sites happened, then the next phase was, take over the regime. Because that attack on their nuclear sites was a sign of Israel telling them, we're coming after you. And they have, and that's exactly what's going on. We gave those words, like I said, a year ago, more than a year ago. All right, I know I'm repeating that, but some people don't get it. They really, you didn't really, I promise, in Jesus' name, I ain't lying. I'm telling you, and those of you who listen, we did that right here. Okay, so what's going on with all that? We got other prophets giving other great words, and things are happening in different places. I don't know what everybody's saying. Unless people send stuff to me, I really don't check out what other prophets are saying. I don't have time. I mean, I'm very busy. I have lots of things going on. I have a lot I need to talk about, and I'm trying to explain things to people in simple English so that they can put the pieces of the puzzle together. That this temple thing is all being done because Israel attacked Iran's, the nuclear sites, and then of course the U.S. helped. And I said the word, and those who haven't heard this before, that when I give the word in 2024, that it was going to be like an earthquake, and I couldn't understand why it was going to be like an earthquake. How can you have? I said on the show that night, 13, 14 months ago, that when Israel bombs their nuclear sites, it's going to be kind of like an earthquake going to go off at the same time. I said I didn't know. I couldn't tell because I saw that it went deep, and I know that they didn't have bombs that could go deep. So I said there's an earthquake happening at the same time. I don't know if God's working with them. I said I didn't know. Right? You go listen to it, you'll see. But they bombed them. Either the bomb caused the earthquake, or the earthquake came in with alongside the bombing at the same time. And the timing was perfect. I couldn't tell. I just said I just see it happening. Okay, so that was the Holy Spirit. Yeah, that was the Holy Spirit doing it, all that stuff. I don't know anything, right? So, all right. So there you go. What else we got to talk about tonight? So what we're trying to do tonight is to show you, not only show you that we're right in the middle of all this, and we've been right in the middle of it for a long time. We're just talking about the last year or so. We've been involved. Those who listen long, we've been involved right in the middle of all this stuff for years. Actually, I've been involved in it before I ever came on PGN. I was right in the middle of everything before then, and then it just began to accelerate and accelerate and accelerate to the point to where we're getting a billion hits on our words because they're going all over the news, all over the globe. A billion per day, a billion hits per day, y'all. A billion, not a million, not 20 million. That's more than all those people. Most of them, those guys are getting all together in the U.S. I mean, if you give words that happen on the global, happen in the global, and it goes in the global news. If it's just something about what the whales did, I don't know why I'm mentioning whales. What the whale's going to do, and so that may go global, it may not go. But when you got Israel bombing a nuclear site, that's like big, and that went all over the place. And also Elon Musk, when we gave the word about Elon Musk, we got billions of hits off that one. Billions, not millions, billions of people watching it on the news, the exact words that we gave right here on PGN. Billions. All right, I'm saying it because people think, oh, PGN, you ain't got much going on, man. Are you kidding me? I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting y'all know, so you'll be encouraged to know that the words that God gives us here, and God knows, I know I would never know anything if it hadn't been for the Lord. He shows us this stuff. It's really cool, and there's a lot more, but I'm going to be bringing up soon. We'll have to see. I got some new information just recently about some heavy duty stuff, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it public or not. We'll see. But so that's why I need you to pray for me. God will make it plain to me. I don't worry about him not making it plain to me. But pray for me. I carry some stuff, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, I feel privileged, but I'm carrying some really heavy stuff. It's if I hadn't been in shape spiritually, I wouldn't be able to carry it. Right? It's the grace of God. It's the miracles of Jesus for me. All right. So the red heifer ceremony, they did do a practice run on that. That happened somewhere in the first week of July or so. So they did actually do a practice run on that. Isn't that awesome? We are right in the middle of that. So most of you know that we've been right in the middle of the whole thing, the whole time, the red heifer thing. I know most people do not believe this, but we gave the name of the Antichrist. God wrote the name of the Antichrist before me in the middle of the night in 2007, 2008, somewhere in there. And I didn't make it public until 2022 for about, 12 years or 15 years, something like that. I kept it private. I told you guys that I knew the name of the Antichrist, and but I can't give it yet. And so the very day that I decided to give it, the queen died on a Thursday, and then on a Monday, God says, I want you to do it today. Give the name of the Antichrist. I was shaking in my boots, man. I didn't wear boots. I was shaking in my sandals. I'm going like, hey, you sure? It was just so big. I kept it quiet for so long. And the Lord said, I want you to do it now. I want you to do it now. So on September the 12th, 2022, right here on the show, public on a Monday. I said the Antichrist is Nathaniel Philip Victor James Rothschild, because that's the initials. God wrote his initials before me and then confirmed it to me supernaturally. I'm not talking about some fuzzy dream I had. No, I'm talking about supernatural interventions, confirmed it to me twice. I'm talking about, he showed it to me other ways, but I'm talking about supernatural, totally irrefutable information, and showed me that it was him, confirmed it to me supernaturally. Because I'm like everybody, I'm like going, if I start telling people I know who the Antichrist is, they're going to go, yeah, sure you do, Chandler. Right? And so that's kind of how I felt. So, I didn't tell anybody. And, well, God told me not to tell anybody, but I couldn't figure out why, right? And so listen to this, man. Listen to this. The very date that we gave the name of the Antichrist on right here on the show on a Monday night, on September the 12th, 2022, gave the Antichrist a name for the first time ever. 3 days later, on September the 15th, the red heifers showed up in Israel. I mean, literally. I think Jeannie's the one that sent me the text on it, or the video on it. Randy, they got a red heifer showing up in Israel. I'm going like, really? My wife and I got involved. Okay, what? I wasn't even into the red heifer thing. I mean, I didn't really know anything about it, And now it's all over the place. But then I didn't know, and I said the red heifer thing, yeah. So I started watching shows about the red heifer, and going, wow, that's pretty important. That's 2,000-year-old prophecy that's never happened. Wow, that is amazing. And so my wife, Julie, at the time, she told me that, hey, it's in Texas. The red heifer came from Texas. I said, really, Texas? I thought Houston, something like that. So sure enough, she said, yeah, it's right over here in Rockwall. She knows Rockwall better than I do. She said, right here in Rockwall. Rockwall's about 12 miles from us. I go, Rockwall? She said, yeah, listen to the video. So I listened to the video. I got the name of the ranch, because they gave the name of the ranch on there. I called the ranch up. I looked it up in the phone, and it gave his number. And I said to the ranch, the guy who ran the ranch, not the owner, but the guy who ran the ranch for him. He said, hey, I said, hey, this is so-and-so ranch. I went, hey, are you guys the red heifer guys? And he said, yeah, we sure are. I said, well, is this guy kin to Brian Davenport? And he said, yeah, man, that's his brother. I said, Brian Davenport's his brother with the guy who brought the ranch? You got to be kidding me. How come Brian Davenport never told me about the ranch? Of course, I wouldn't know what it was anyway. But so we go out there, right? We drive out there, and I've been to Brian's house before. Back in 2006, 2007, 2008, somewhere in there. I've been out to his house. Went out there and prayed. I don't remember what we did exactly. We were at his house. Well, couldn't find out. The ranch for the red heifer, his brother was right across the street from him, basically. So we called Brian Davenport. I said, hey, Brian, I'm out here. It's Randy Chandler. I haven't talked to you in a long time. He said, yeah, what's going on? I said, oh, we're right over here next to your brother's. Hey, where are you at? And he said, well, why don't y'all come on over? And I went, okay. So we just went over to his house. I'd been there before. And pulled up in there and said hello to him. He's very nice. Him and his wife bought some fish, and we ate and had a good, very, very lovely people. And he started telling me all about it. So he gets Brian Stinson on the phone right then. So Randy, I'm gonna get this Brian Stinson on the phone. I didn't know who he was talking about, right? I'm gonna get Brian Stinson on the phone. So he gets Brian Stinson on the phone, and this is just Brian. You have to know Brian. Brian's, he just kind of like takes over when God tells him to, and he starts, hey, Chandler, prophesy to these people. I'm going like, so he's handing me the phone with Brian Davenport, and I'm going, of course, Brian didn't have a clue who I was. He didn't have a clue. I could tell he was kind of irritated because he had him on the speakerphone. He was a little bit like, not irritated, but kind of like, Brian, can you get, so I said, hi, Brian Stinson, Byron Stinson, how are you? And he, hello, and that was about it. And I handed him the phone. I said, dude, he's not ready for a prophetic word right now. He says, they don't even know who I am. So Brian Davenport tells him who I am, and I prophesied his family into our church for years. And so he told Brian Davenport, he said, you got to get a hold of this guy because he'll give you something. I don't know what he's going to give you. He's going to give you something from the Lord. And Brian Davenport never did call me. The other people, he gave me other people that were connected to the red heifer situation that they called me from the, they called me up and I prophesied to them. But Brian Davenport, so I got on Brian Davenport's website, and I'm looking at Brian Davenport's website, and I see this picture of his house on there, and it's in, Bethlehem, and there's this property across the street. He has pictures of it, and I'm looking at that property. I'm going like, that looks exactly like the dream I had about the two witnesses. The same that property that I saw in the with the two witnesses, the vision that I had was a very unique piece of property. The way it looked, the trees, the whole thing, the land mainly, and I said, oh my God, that's where the two witnesses are at. The two witnesses. So I had his number, right, and Brian Davenport gave me Byron Stinson's phone number. So I called him up and I said, hey man, I texted him about it, and I said, it's taking too long to text you. I'm going to get on your voicemail. I know you're busy. He told me he was busy. He's not going to answer the phone, right? So I didn't expect him to answer the phone. So I called him up. I said, hey Byron, and the Lord says, I want you to holler it out to him, Randy. I'm going like, he doesn't even know who I am. This welcome to the prophetic room, right? He doesn't know who I am. He doesn't know nothing about me. He's like, he thinks I'm an idiot, but Brian Davenport told him I was a prophet, right? So at least he was a little bit open. So I'm hollering I got him on the phone like this, and I think I'm talking to his voicemail, right? Hey, Byron, this is Randy Chandler. I saw your site on there, blah, blah, blah. It said, that property looks like the same property I saw with the two witnesses. And the Lord says, shout it out to him, Randy. I'm going like, okay, God, help me, Jesus. So I'm shouting, the two witnesses, Byron, the two witnesses are coming to your house. And the Lord said, tell him again, shout it again, Randy. And I'm like, okay, Lord. The two witnesses, Byron, the two witnesses are coming to your house. So he gets on the phone, he gets on the phone. He's excited, man. I'm going like, oh God, he probably thinks I'm a nut. He's going to tell me I'm crazy. Why did Brian ever give me his phone number? I'm some idiot over here telling him the two witnesses are coming to his house, right? Like, who would tell anybody that? That's crazy. And and you can contact Byron Simpson if you want to. He'll tell you exactly what I'm telling you. And so he says, Randy. Oh, Byron, I thought you were going to. He said, no. He said, I got to tell you something, man. And he starts telling me these stories about the two witnesses. How God told him when he was 13 years old that he was going to be working with the two witnesses. And I went, what? I've never heard anybody say that but me, right? I'm the only nut that would ever say that. But no, Byron Stinson, the guy who's, one of the head dogs with the temple. I saw a video today, a brand new video I've never seen before. It had his name all over it, the Bonet, And I'm going like, so I'm talking to this guy, and I say, hey, he's telling me, he said, yeah, when I was 13 years old, the Lord told me I was going to be working with the two witnesses. And that's a crazy thing unless you're me. And I've never told anybody, I've never heard anybody say that except me. Never. So I'm listening to him going like, I'm freaked out. I'm going like, I'm thinking, what did he just say? Did he just say what I thought he said? And I'm the only one that's ever said that before that I know of. And he's all excited. He said, yeah, man. He said, yeah. He said, can I have one of those banners? Because an angel gave me two banners, with flags on them to welcome the two witnesses. And because the two witnesses got off the chariot and off the horse, and they started walking toward me. And the angel just had handed me these two wooden banners, these poles, flags, with triangular flags on them. And I didn't see the angel, but he came beside me and handed them to me. And so when they got off when they started walking toward me, they said with such humility and such like awe, it was convicting, man. It was so convicting. They said, we've come to see where the king was born. Like it was so holy that, they come to see where the king was born. And I mean, it was convicting, man. I'm going like, wow, these dudes are hot, man. I mean, the two witnesses, these dudes, like, they were so holy. It felt like to me, like I was under conviction. I mean, I'm living right with God, and I don't have any deliberate willful sin in my life at all, not even close. But I'm going like, man, the conviction, the reverence they had for just wanting to see where Jesus was born, because he said, we've come to see where the King was born, and then my dream ended, right? And so when I saw Byron had a house there, and that property, literally has pictures on his website, I used to, Uh, I said, I texted him. I said, can you, after I gave him that word, of course, he got excited, because I mean, I don't know if anybody knew that or not about him, because that's not something you go around telling people. Well, I would, but, I'm not normal, right? But, it's something that you want to keep private. Working with the two witnesses. Yeah, right, man. It's gonna be cool. And so it just sounds really out there unless you are out there. So yeah, it's really amazing. It really is amazing how that all happened. And then Byron. See, I do a lot of wild and crazy things, right? I do. I do a lot of wild and crazy things. I mean, if I get something, I mean, I've jumped off stages before and almost broke my back. With an example, I'm like a four stair, like I'm up on the top, and I'm jumping off there, and it's just not very often, but off and on. And I've said some crazy things, done some crazy, and the thing is that every one of them have been right on. It's really just been God. And I'm just kind of going like, man, this stuff is actually happening. That it freaked me out, and I'm the one who the God showed the two witnesses, and I'm the one who the flags were where the banners were given to welcome them, and so Byron Stinson says, hey man, can I have one of those flags? I'm going like, I went kind of like, I don't even know this guy, right? Just what Brian Davenport told me. I said, hey, he says, you think I can get one of those banners? I'm kind of like going, I didn't say what, but I'm thinking like, what did he just say? Did he just say he wanted one of those two banners? I mean, it took such faith, in my opinion, because this is a holy thing, man. I mean, this is an amazing thing. It takes such faith and humility for them to ask me for that, because he's a bigger dog than me. I'm just like a little old nothing over here. I'm not a little nothing. You know what I mean? But I feel like a little nothing most of the time. And he's asking me. He said, "Hey," and I said, so I kind of him hawed around, right? He kind of gets a little bit, like, like I didn't understand what he was saying. He said, you know what I mean, like not physically, spiritually. Can I get one of those? And I said, dude, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. I can't give away something God didn't tell me to give away. And he probably should be the one who has them, not me. That's what I'm thinking. I just give them both to him, and yeah, give them to whoever you want to. But unless God tells me to do something like that, I can't do that, right? I have to like do what God tells me. And so it's a crazy moment. And I just felt such love from him. His love for God is amazing, and his love for Jesus was convicting for me too. Is like, and the fact that he had the humility and the faith to ask me for that. I mean, that took I don't know. He just loves Jesus. That's all I can say. The man just loves Jesus. I love Jesus too, but I don't know if I love Jesus as much as he does. I mean, it's amazing, truly amazing. So anyway, I don't know why I got off on that story again, but so it's really amazing, y'all, what's happening. There's so much happening. There's so much happening, and now they did a test run on the red heifer, and we got confirmation that was actually happened from one of Byron Stinson's friends. I did not contact the friend, but Jeannie, one of our friends, Jeannie, contacted him by Facebook, and instead of Byron answering, one of his friends. I think Byron has to be careful what he says. I guess I don't know, but anyway, I'm not into all that, but he is, so whatever. Yeah. Okay. Y'all, I mean, where are we going with this? Man, don't ask me. I'm just a messenger boy. But so this is kind of what's happening. Okay, David Turner says, Chris Burke says, amen and amen. Thank you, Chris, for that. Chris Burke coming on. All right, and then we have David Turner says, loving only my wife, following the money trail in the book of Ezra of what goes on in the temple, backtracking using the numbers from Daniel and the 66 days from the virgin girl, going up and down the mountain for 2 months. I don't know what that means, dude. That's awesome. You want to kind of elaborate on that a little bit? I'm not. I don't know what that means, but that's cool. backtracking using the numbers from Daniel and the 66 days from. I got something messing with me here on this. Uh, get here with that. Maybe I'll change it. Okay, so using them for Daniel, and I don't know what that is, but it sounds cool. And who's the virgin girl going up and down the mountain for 2 months? Who's that? Kind of remind me about who that is. I don't think I know who that is. That's in the Bible. Cool, David. So let me know about that if you would. All right, Nikki. I think Nikki has a birthday today. Happy birthday to Nikki. Happy birthday. All right. Happy birthday to Nikki. Everybody's telling me you're going to tell everybody you're like 25. Is that true? Are you actually telling people you're like 25? Or maybe it was 35. Was it 35? Let's see if she answers that. I guess it helps if I keep my microphone. How's that microphone keep creeping out of my hand? I don't know. Wow. Really weird. What did I do? Did I lose my. Okay. Uh, yes, thank you. You told people. So you did tell people you were 25 or 35? Okay, I just realized I'm not on. I wish you guys would tell me when I get knocked off. I didn't know I got knocked off. Okay, I'm back on there now. Okay, I'm back on there now. I'm back on Turbo. I didn't know I was off there, you guys. I didn't have a clue. I must have. I think this thing must slip down or something. Am I talking a lot? Or it just slipped down? Okay, so so you're laughing. Obviously, you weren't really telling people you're 25. I didn't really hear that, and I'm just playing with you. But happy birthday, girl! Awesome. Good to have you tonight. Uh, I was just kidding about the 25. I was kidding about the 35. In fact, I was kidding about the whole thing actually, because I like to mess with you guys a little bit. But yeah, so awesome. Happy birthday to Nikki. She is obviously not telling me, so I guess that's a good sign. You're humble when you don't tell people how old you are. That's because, especially if they're guessing that you are 25 and you're really like 35, then it's more humble to not say, yeah, no. Anyway, we won't go there. All right, David is not answering me, so I guess either he's busy trying to figure out what he wants to share or something. But anyway, okay, you guys. Sorry, I was on turbo, and I guess I got knocked off somehow or another. I don't know how I did that, but I did. But I am back on there now. If you want to get on there, it's up to you. But if you want to talk, you got something you want to share about, we can do that tonight. Also, hang on a second. I'll be right back. Are back. All right, good to be here tonight. All right, thank you for being with us. Okay. All right, did not hear everyone talking food, got hungry. Okay. Yeah, my question was I was asking you, David, what you mean by what you said, um, following the money trail in the book of Ezra, um, and what goes into the temple, backtracking using the numbers from Daniel and the 66 days from the virgin girl going up and down the mountain for 2 months. I don't know what you mean by that. Can you explain that a little bit better? All right. So when he gets to that, we'll talk about that. All right, y'all. I have gone all over the place tonight trying to explain things to you. We do have the turbo back on again if you want to go to turbo, but if you want to stay with us here, that'd be great. Okay. I have a lot of information. I'm going to be sharing a lot of information tomorrow night on things. So, all right. Angel says you're welcome. Yes, Angel also says, Nikki, Angel says, happy birthday to Nikki. God bless you. Um, all right, cool. All right, she says, Angel says, you're welcome. Oh, Nikki says, thank you, Angel. Okay. I'm not used to people talking to each other on here. That's awesome. Cool. There you go. Really, really cool. Okay. So that's what's happening with that. All right. So the red heifer thing is really big. Um, we are really believing God for all the results that we need on that as far as the timing. Because once the red heifer kicks in, once the red heifer is offered up, uh, if you're keeping up with this, you know that that's going to be the signal they're going to start building the temple, right? They're going to start building the temple. And by the time they get the temple built, Nicole Gibbs says, happy birthday, Nikki. I guess you can probably see that. So there you go. So, you know, the Gihon, the Gihon is about ready. Not just the Gihon itself. The flow of the river. They found it in the city of David. It's actually in the city of David, and it's a little ways away from the temple. But they'll be walking across this pathway. That's what they're doing. They're rebuilding that pathway, and you can probably do some research on that and find it. Hang on a second here. Yeah. So you can see things are just amazingly coming together. Um, they're coming together, and it's just shocking, actually. They did a practice on the red heifer. I found out that really did happen. I didn't know. I hadn't heard anybody say. And then we found out from one of Byron Stinson's friends that Jeannie got a hold of, Jeannie from Texas, and she found out from him. And so I asked her if she would mind doing it. So I just have so much going on. But yeah, so Nikki says, thank you to Nicole. Amen. All right. For those of you who are listening by audio, we don't have anybody on the audio right now. I guess because I don't know how that got messed up, but it did. So sorry. Okay. So we are absolutely understanding that one of the other things, other than the red heifer, is that they are restoring the pathway from the place where everybody will be have to go get cleansed, or you wash in the water. I don't know how you do it exactly. I haven't found out the details on how. I don't know if you dive in, take a dive, or you just like put a little water on you and cleanse yourself. I'm not wash your feet, maybe your toe. I don't know. I don't know what you wash, but you get cleansed before you go to the temple, and then you go to the temple, and so that's all about. That's I mean they like about a year and a half on that. Some people say 2 years. I'm saying about a year and a half. So by the time they get the temple together and all that, y'all, we're gonna have the temple. We're gonna have a temple. You know what that means? That is the most obvious time message symbol. of where we are at in the timing of the coming of the Lord, man. I mean, it's just like unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's absolutely just like stark raving Holy Ghost crazy. And here we are. We're right in the middle of all of it. And when I can tell you everything, I want to start. I'm trying to download stuff so you can kind of know what's happening. But so as far as Iran, and until Iran goes down, which it already is down, basically, until Iran has been safely taken over, uh, you know, they're not going to be able to start building a temple or even thinking about it, because as long as, of course, really, I think that's basically over. They just need to finish taking it over. They've already basically knocked it down. Now they've got to finish it off, and like we prophesied 13, 14 months ago about the regime change, specifically the regime change. And then after that, they will be able to build the temple because they're going to have peace to be able to do it, not have to worry about, you know. So this is strategically on point in time with what God is doing, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. We're about to have the temple and all that. Uh, okay, so David says here, the gold, silver, brass, and up to a big number, add up to a big number, but use days from Daniel to count back, and 66 is for us to lament from the Passover. Is for us to lament from the Passover. You have to speak more English than that, man. I mean, that's awesome information, and I'm sure you're putting a lot of info in one little thing there, but I don't even know what you're talking about. What does this have to do with the 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 temple being built, basically, I guess? And you're talking, I guess, about the because I talk about a lot of things during the show, and you were missing for a little while, and I've talked about a lot of other things, so I'm not even sure what you're talking about there exactly. If you're talking about the gold and silver and brass for the temple or the money or what, you need to be more specific than that if you can. If you can, that'd be great. If not, no big deal. Uh, I'm just trying to make sure people understand what you're trying to say there, so that we can get it straight, and I can get it straight. I can respond if I want to. Okay. All right. So hang on a second here. I'm gonna. All right. So we've made our new song when people call into the show, and they're waiting for me to come on. It's about the second coming. That's why I chose that song that Nicole wrote, was because of it's a second coming song, and I liked it. So second coming is what I'm talking about. Uh, the picture off of a YouTube video 7 days ago on the Pool of Siloam restoration. A picture of of Okay, there you go. So let's do this. All right, let me get a picture of that. Glenn sent me a picture of. Let's, let's see here. Hang on a second. Oh, what am I doing? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna get a picture that Glenn just sent me up here for this. Here. All right, y'all wait just a moment. I'm gonna get this for you. All right, here's a photo. Okay, let's go here and get that up there. All right, y'all. There is a picture uh, that just got sent to me of the Pool of Siloam, and yeah, those look like the ones that I've seen. That does look like it. Yeah, so pretty cool. All right, this is the Pool of Siloam. This is where the people have to go to get into the water to get cleansed to go to the temple. And so this is he says this is a picture off of YouTube video 7 days ago on the Pool of Siloam restoration. Siloam. Okay, so that's actually a picture of that. All right, so very very cool. And they said they left the original stairs that where Rome tried to break it up. They have the original stones on that, but a lot of this is being restored as close as they can back to its original state. But it's really really awesome, man. That's actually a picture. Can y'all see that? All right. All right, that's actually a picture of it. They supposedly got it dug down to the bedrock. Yeah, they've had it. Um, I'm going to share. I'm going to share specifically about a lot of the details really soon. Uh, I told you I was going to do that last week, and I haven't done it yet. But there's so much happening right now. But I'm going to share the details of this that I have been told about. Uh, I read about it, and so it's really going to be awesome. Okay, they supposedly dug down to the bedrock uh, to be cleansed in the same as baptism or mitzvah in Hebrew. It's all about purification in the Jewish rule. Yeah. Oh, Angel says yes. She sees. Okay. Yeah. The prophetic watch, prophecy watch. Glenn says to be cleansed is the same as baptism or mitzvah in Hebrew. It's all about purification in the Jewish rule. Yeah. Uh, it's always fun to get baptized. I think it'd be fun to get baptized. I wouldn't mind getting baptized again. Not, I don't need it, but hey, who knows? I might need it. I might need a double dose. That would be nice. That would be really cool to have that. Uh, all right, so there you go. There's the pool of uh, Siloam, where it's literally they're actually rebuilding the walkway to actually to the temple. They're actually building that, and that is the part that is taking so long. The Pool of Siloam part with the streams, I don't know. I don't know what that is exactly, but I have some very detailed information on it that I'll be sharing. That's not off of YouTube so much. There may be some good stuff on YouTube. I think there is some good stuff on YouTube, but we're going to be sharing with you some really heavy details on all this, just to kind of show you guys that we are, this is actually happening. I mean, this is actually happening. It's not just going to happen. It's not somebody prophesying. I see this pool of Siloam. I mean, this is literally happening. And I want to mention to you guys also about some things going on with Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan is starting to come in. We were the first ones. When you're a prophet, you get first. You get first information. That's why we talk about. We're the first. We were the first ones to talk about Azerbaijan, how Iran is being taken over through Azerbaijan. Has been for a long time. That has been a real quiet thing because Iran is so violent and aggressive that they will attack Azerbaijan, and so that's why it was very difficult for me to talk about Azerbaijan when I did, um, because it was revealed to me back in 2007, 2008, and then 14 months ago, I brought it up on the show specifically about Azerbaijan and said, I know nobody's heard about this, but Iran's going to be taken over through Azerbaijan, at least somewhat, partially. And so, yeah, and now all that news is starting to come out everywhere. It was on TBN. Was talking about today. Um, Israel and Syria disagreements will be meeting together in Azerbaijan on Sunday. That was yesterday. And then there's other information here where they're talking about Baku. Baku is really Azerbaijan. It's the capital of Azerbaijan, Baku. I studied all this years ago. For some reason, I got obsessed with it, and God started speaking to me about it, and that's why I'm giving it to you guys many years later. But the timing on this that God had me give this, the reason that we gave the information about Azerbaijan and about the nuclear sites being bombed by Israel that looked like an earthquake was because on April the 13th, 2024, Israel had been bombed or been attacked by Iran for the first time ever. Iran has never attacked Israel through proxies and through other people. Yeah, through Hezbollah and through Hamas. Yeah, through Gaza and different things and the Houthis and all that, but never had done it. They did it on the 13th, y'all, on the 13th of April. Okay, so the 15th, the reason I tell you the 15th of April is when we talked, because that was on the 13th. So I'm thinking in my head when I did the show, I wonder what their retaliation is going to be because of Iran attacking for the first time ever. It was a big, big thing, a big, big thing. So I'm thinking, on the show, I'm on the show Monday, and I've been asking God, show me if they're going to retaliate. If they are going to retaliate, how are they going to retaliate? I didn't know. I'm asking the Lord. I'm on the show live in 2024, April the 15th, 2020 on a Monday. And we're rapping, we're playing around, we're having some fun. And all of a sudden, I went off into this thing. The Holy Spirit came on me, and I started talking about what God had shown me in 2007. I said, Israel is going to attack Iran's nuclear sites. And it's going to be like, I said, I didn't know whether when they attacked it, an earthquake went off at the same time because it shook so deep, or the bomb that they hit caused an earthquake to happen because it shook so deep, and I couldn't comprehend. I didn't never see anything like that before, so I didn't know how to say it except like that. And so, sure enough, we know now that Israel hit it once, and then America came in with a bunker busting bomb, which makes sense now. What I saw was that it went down to the rock and shook deep. That now makes sense for the first time ever. So I got that, like I said, I got the information in back then. So just letting you know that the reason I keep going back and trying to identify PGN with all this stuff is because we are right in the middle of the prophecy parts of it, giving prophetic words about the details of what's going to happen before it happens, and then it happens, and now we're looking at it going like, oh my God, how did God give that? God just gave it, and He gave it to me years ago, and then I just happened to bring it up. 18 years later, out of the blue, what's the retaliation for Israel for Iran? Well, and that's what came out of my spirit. And then 13 months later, it happened. And now the regime change is happening. And that word was given all in the same night within a few minutes of each other, for those of you who are listening for the first time. Okay? So go back and listen to that. Download the app. I don't have anything to do with the app. The app is called Spreaker. We downloaded all of our apps from PGN, from Blog Talk on there, and spreaker.com. You have to download it on your phone to get them, because if you do it on the computer like I did, it doesn't work. It only goes to a few of them. You have to go and do it on your phone for some reason. But so go there, and then when I give you dates on those words, you can go look them up for yourself on your own phone. Right there, you can see exactly what I'm telling you is exactly what we said. Okay, having a lot of fun tonight. Yeah. So, to start counting the time. Okay, you keep coming up with all these things, David. I don't know it's hard to read because I don't know what you're talking about. What does all this have to do with, bro? What does it have to do with? It's really cool information. I like it, but the number of all the silver, gold, and brass was 1872, and I started counting. It sounds really cool, man. And at the time they hit the land and took people, they then count back. I don't know. What is this all about? I mean, where's this leading to? So I can kind of know where you're going so I can follow you. Other than that, I'm not going to read any more of it for now. Okay. So just tell me where you're going with it, and then I can follow you. I'm not going to do the little thing of you give information when I'm asking you to be specific with me, of where you're taking it. If you don't mind, I would really appreciate that. All right. Other than that, I'm not going to read any more of that. It's as awesome as it is because I don't know where it's going. All right. Glenn says here, Prophecy Watch, the Cohen, which is a priest that is selected to do the red heifer ceremony, can't ever have been near any dead bodies. They would not have been born in a hospital. Exactly. Yeah, we talked about all this, all that. It's been a while back, but thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, they have to be, and they have all that. They have priests that have been born at home and never touched anything dead. They actually have those, as you probably know. So they have this is already all this stuff that they didn't have before. The Pool of Siloam is now was discovered several years ago, and they found the water in the city of David. And I'll tell you the story about that. It's a really awesome story, the whole thing, and then how they found the steps to and the pathway, the road that goes to the temple, what the people walked on, 2,000 years ago. Yeah, it's really cool. Really, 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 really cool. So, all right. And what's really cool to me is I tried to find that video tonight that I have that I usually play behind me over here. But remember I told you that we did the prophetic act that I started building the temple. Y'all remember when I started telling you I started doing the imagery thing of building the temple, and I showed you what I did already, where they're clearing off the place where the temple's going to be, that platform where the temple's going to be, that area where the Dome of the Rock is. They were clean. I made an imagery thing of it, video where they were cleaning it all off, and you saw they started building the temple, and I told you that I was doing it as a prophetic act. Y'all remember that? That happened. I don't have the exact date. I'll get the date and share it later, but I don't know if you guys remember that or not. But I talked about that, and I said I was doing it as a prophetic act only, because I don't know what the temple's going to look like exactly. Probably I don't know, but I just started doing this thing of, you know, this imagery thing where they're going in there with these, machinery, and they're cleaning up the platform, and they start building the temple. And I said, this is a prophetic act to build the temple. And now, to me, because I obeyed the Lord in it. Now look what's happening. Now look at the acceleration of this thing, where they did a red heifer thing, practice on the red heifer. That was really huge, and where they did or now they're talking about all this stuff. Iran and Iran has to be taken care of first before they can build the temple. So we did the prophetic act about 2 months ago or 3 months ago. I don't have the date right in front of me. And I said, this is a prophetic act to open the door for the building of the temple from what God tells me to do. And I have the authority. God has given me the authority to do that as a prophet called to Israel. Michael the Archangel, as you guys know, I've had a visitation from him many years ago. And ever since then, he's been showing me information about all this stuff that I get, including Iran. I believe, I don't have any proof of it, but I think Michael's the one who showed me about the bombing of the nuclear sites. Who would have ever known that? For sure, that they were going to do it. And then bring it up, a few months before they do it. Out of the blue, talked about that. Out of the blue. Go to Spreaker and hear the proof. You can go to April the 15th, 2024, and then go to May the 20th, 2024, about a month apart. And you can hear the whole thing. So that's, like 13 months or 14 months before any of it began to happen. About 4 months later, no, 34 days later, after we gave the word on April the 15th about Azerbaijan being used to take down the Iranian regime, that word was given, and then 34 days later, the helicopter went down in Azerbaijan with the regime president of Iran on it and died, which I believe, boy, that caused me a little bit of attention. I get a little bit of attention out of that one, I have to say. Anyway, so when I get that information, that was a very big secret. I unloaded a very big. Some of y'all wouldn't have a clue, but God was just saying, "Go ahead and tell them now," because Israel. I mean, the Mossad blew that to me. To me, when they did that and they let the helicopter go down in eastern Azerbaijan, the very country we spoke about 34 days before that specifically, and nobody talked about it. That I mean, you have to understand that's huge. And so when that went down, when that helicopter went down with the Iranian president on it, I said, "That's it for me. I'm not holding it back any longer. We're going to come out. We're going to bring it all out in the open." So I did. And I said, it's all about regime change. That's what they're going for here. This is not just some random act that they happen to run into the side of a mountain with the regime president of Iran in it, and they all got killed, and all of his regime friends got killed in it in one whack. You can tell me nobody had nothing to do with that? Now, alleged, I have to say alleged, Mossad, big time, alleged Mossad. And I said that back then. Told you all that back then. Okay, if okay, David said, thank you, David. I appreciate you getting a little bit better on that. I just having a hard time understanding what you're trying to talk about. If we find where the temple is built, following the silver and the brass, the gold that goes into it after it's built, the pure items can refer to us. The reason why I counted back the days from Daniel. That's a very interesting subject. I really like that. It's really cool. So then counted forward the 66 days for the woman lamenting, taking us to a harvest time of wheat. Okay. Yeah, you have to put that in English as far as because to me, like when I get prophetic words, if I just say, all this stuff uh, about something that, but yet it doesn't make any sense to you know practical names of cities and towns and thing. What I'm talking about. If I don't connect it to what's going on, then to me it's wonderful. I love the mystical news. I love the mystical information. It's really cool. All right. Okay. So Lori Morris says, "Have any of y'all gotten a word about famine? Uh, about famine when?" Lori, I'm sorry. Okay, so you're saying, have any of y'all gotten a word about famine? Yeah, but what are you talking about? Famine when? Um, yeah, famine with what and where? Um, so yeah, we can talk about that if you tell me what you're talking about. Because getting a word about famine, there's famines that go on. There's famines that go on. There's been a lot of famines that have gone on. Like, right, you do a word on how many famines? Okay, 10 countries in food crisis. Are you talking about famine as in food crisis? What are you talking about famine in? If you don't mind letting me know about that. Famine is declared when specific criteria are met, including widespread mortality due to starvation. Um, Famine is also severe food insecurities in is a precursor of famine. Conflict, climate change, and economic instability are major drivers of food crises. Many regions are experiencing a combination of these factors, uh, exacerbating the risk of famine. While famine is not widespread in the sense, while famine is not widespread in the sense of large-scale famine events, like in part, the risk remains high for many populations. Sudan, famine has been declared in parts of Darfur, with millions more at risk. So there's famine already. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if there's any real famine right now, but Somalia, several areas face a high risk of famine due to drought and conflict. Yemen, severe food and shortages and high levels of acute hunger put millions at risk for famine. So when you say famine, a word on famine, there's already famine, right? There's already famine. So I don't know. You need to be, if you could be more clear about, because there's already famine. Uh, and many countries are right on the verge of famine. So If you could clarify that, Lori, I'd really appreciate that so I can know a little bit more about what you're talking about. Okay, Glenn says broken sewer pipes leading to finding the pool. Uh, we're going to talk about that pretty soon. So your information may be partially true, but the information that I have focuses on specific things, like a food crisis. Okay, well, there's a lot of food crises. A food crisis for like I just read famine, just so everybody can kind of know what a famine is. Most people, famine come to the U.S. soon. Oh, thank you. Sorry, I communicate with people very well. Hey, dude, David, you're not the only one. That's one of my biggest problems, and I'm supposed to be a communicator, right? And sometimes I don't know how to communicate properly. So I'm working on it, and I'm getting better all the time. So just work on it, dude. You're doing great. But thanks for sharing that, man. I mean, that's really, yeah, because in our own world, we understand what we're talking about, right? But when it comes to people understanding what we're saying, I'm the world's worst at just flopping it out there and people going, huh? What'd you say? Can you tell us what that means in English? Like, or whatever? And I'm going like, what do you mean? I know what it means. So, yeah, but we don't know what you're talking about. So this is a thing that I have. And Lori says, me too, David. Okay, so we're all in that same boat on that one. No doubt about it. Okay, so you're talking about a food crisis in America, in the U.S. Um, I don't know. I don't see. We already have in the U.S. We have. Uh, uh, let me do a little search here. Okay, hang on a second. All right. Uh, okay. Food crisis in 2024. Nearly 3 million people suffered high level of acute food insecurity. The latest edition of the Global Report of the Food Crisis warns of devastating food security and nutrition crisis with no sign of improvement in 2025. But I didn't say anything about the U.S. So, but I haven't had a specific word about famine in the U.S. No, I haven't had any words about famine in the U.S. Okay, so hope that answers your question. Um, I have been asked. I've had people call me up one time on the show and ask me, live on the show on the internet radio show, and which we also have that over here, internet radio. Uh, so they called me and they said, "Brother Randy, can you pray for California? It's having a lot of drought and stuff." And you know what I told them, Lori? I said, "If the Lord said, tell them no." I said, "No, I can't do that." And they went, "What? Like you can't pray for?" I said, "Sometimes if God doesn't let me pray for something, I know something big going on. God, something big is going on. So I would not pray for rain. I did not pray for rain." And they said they were kind of confused. They were nice about it, but they going like, you're not gonna pray for somebody? Listen, sometimes if God tells me not to pray for somebody for something, I don't pray for them. I don't always understand why. It doesn't make any sense, right? Because sometimes God is trying to deal with a city or a nation or a people. So sometimes as a prophet, you have to do what God tells you, whether it makes any sense or not. So many times I just, not many times, most of the time I pray, but people want you to pray a certain thing for somebody. And as a prophet, I have a different job, right, than some people do. I have a different job. So I can't just exactly pray. So I said, no, I'm not going to pray for California to have rain. And they're going like, what? So it was kind of weird, but I've experienced a lot of things over the years of God telling me, don't pray for that situation right now because I'm doing something. Pray that they repent. Pray, something like that. Instead of for rain, I'd pray for repentance, uh, or other things. So yeah, it's. But a famine for the U.S. Not yet. I haven't been spoken to by God about famine. Other people might have though, but I have not. So yeah, I have not heard that. Anyway, good questions, you guys. Nice talking tonight. I enjoyed David coming in tonight, sharing his stuff. Really great job there on that. And Glenn, of course, sharing that stuff with me. Thanks for the picture, Glenn. That was awesome. This is the Pool of Siloam that is being restored right now, and they're going to have it ready in about a year and a half, they say. And really, I heard the Pool of Siloam was, I don't know. We'll talk about it later, but I'll get my information right in front of me where I can make sure I say it correctly. But the pathway that they're building, that they're restoring from the Pool of Siloam to the temple place, that is what is they're really working on right now, because everything else is completed, uh, that I heard. And so maybe I misunderstood that. I could have misunderstood that, but I'm listening pretty close, I think. So I could be wrong. Um, I'm looking at my phone here, see if I have any notes on that in front of me. Okay. All right. No, I don't have anything right in front of me about that right now. I did some research on that, uh, but that's all I have. Okay. David Turner says, we are made clean as silver and gold brass. The word of Ezra, use, use, use them can be for things of people. Okay. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're saying there either, but all right. Sometimes I'm kind of slow too. People have a lot of cool things to say, but I don't always get it. Okay, so David, much of the food is tainted by toxins and additives. Uh, okay, okay. David is saying, never mind, I missed that. So David is saying there is plenty of food in the world for everyone. It is a matter of getting it to the people and making it affordable for them. Many are still on just a few dollar day wages. Yeah, and then Glenn says much of the food is tainted by toxins and additives. I'm not sure why you're saying that exactly, but I believe the timeline is overlaid because they come in softly to take over, so we can be the beginning of the tribulation, but not great tribulation. Okay, so you think we're at the beginning of the tribulation? So you say the tribulation is the first 3.5, and the great tribulation is the last 3.5. Is that where you're at on that? All right. And then Glenn says, when the economic issues take hold, when things transition to new system, there will be issues with everyone having everything. There will be issues with everyone having everything. Lori says, I feel the Lord put it on my heart 3 years ago to prepare with food and water. I try to pass it on info. Um, yeah, there's a lot of people have talked about that, and some people have stored it. I think I'm not against storing up a little food. Uh, but I don't know. I have a different perspective on a lot of it. I'm not saying that there's going to be food issues. There's food issues right now in America, but you're talking about something like more devastating where everybody's needing to save up a little bit of food. So that's I'm not saying that's not right. That's a very good possibility that some people will have that issue. So all right, y'all, this has been great tonight. We have been really sharing some really cool information. Thank everybody for sharing your info and anything else you want to say or share. Hang on a second, I'll be right back. Okay. All right. You can see the videos behind me. We make those through our image maker, and that is really about mm, some special things. We'll talk about it later. Anyway, it's we make these right back here. You can see behind me over there. We those are made by RCM RPGN, and we're going to explain all that stuff soon and talk about that real soon. So yeah, about the gold and the silver and all that. So I don't want to talk about it right now because I'll fumble around. But okay, there you go. So we have made a lot of videos. I have also have a video of the temple somewhere. I was trying to find it today. I got it around here somewhere. I'm gonna. I made a video like this, except it had to do with building the temple. My version of building the temple. You know, at least cleaning up the 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 platform and getting and they laid the foundation. I had the lab foundation there. You get see guys working. They're working on the foundation. They're putting the stones together and bringing the stones in and building the temple. I actually have an image maker that we made. We made some of that also, just like we made the one behind me here. This is about Solomon and the gold and silver and all that. But yeah, we make our own imagery, and so I built a temple, and I did this about. I started. I didn't build the whole temple, but I started building the temple, clearing the path, and putting it together as and told you guys that it was a prophetic act for what was to come, and that was like 3 months ago. Uh, if I could, I'll look at the dates on that and find out when we started, when we gave that prophetic word, and did the prophetic act of building putting together a video for my imagery thing that we do ourselves. This is all owned by us, uh, and said it was a prophetic act for the temple being built. So I think that's pretty cool, and the fact that things are starting to happen have accelerated a bit by that. And the reason that I do this stuff isn't because I just feel like doing it. It's because of the thing God has called me. God has called me partially to Israel, and I've had visitations with Michael the Archangel, and he once when he connected with me back in 2004, 2005. He connected with me back then. God brought him into my presence, you know, with a dream and a vision, and he checked me out and didn't say a word to me. He just stared at me and looked at me, and it was really kind of scary in a wonderful way. And from that day on, or from that time on, God began to show me things about Israel that nobody has known. I mean, nobody. Uh, so, okay, you sent a picture of where the temple is going to be. Okay, let me see if I can find that. Okay, I see. There you go. All right, let's take a look at that. We will show that. Glenn sent this to me, and cool. All right, let's take a shot at this. All right, I'm going to show you guys what Glenn has sent me. It's not mine. What Glenn has sent me about where they're going to place the temple and all that. Okay, all right, let's go here. Uh, all right. Okay, let's go here. Here we go. I'm going to send it to you guys. Let's take a look at this. This is Glenn's pictures, not my picture. I have nothing to do with this. Letting you know. Sounds pretty cool. We'll look at it and see. Let's go here, right here. Yeah. Okay, other. All right, Glenn just sent this to me and said this is a. I was researching about the Third Temple, and it was stated that the middle of the Jewish temple will line up with the Eastern Gate. So this would say the mosque is in the way. Okay. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up about the mosque. I want to talk about the mosque for a second. Okay, let's talk about the mosque. We're going to bring that picture right back. Let's talk about the mosque just for a minute, and the possibilities. What am I doing? Okay. Um, so this is Solomon in the temple, kind of like right here in the old days. Um, okay, so let's talk about that first. I want to give you some prophetic information that I have about that. Uh, about whether the dome of the rock is going to be removed or not, and whether it's like Glenn is saying here, whether this is going to be in the way or not. Because according to what he's saying here, that the dome of the rock, you got the eastern gate right there. I don't know if you guys can see me pointing at that, but um, the eastern gate, and then you have the all the other gates there. And he says that the Glenn is saying by this picture that the dome of the rock is going to be in the way. So if it's going to be in the way, here's what I want to say about it. Here's what I want to say about this. Here's what I have about this. Um, the reason that if they mess with the dome of the rock, that it'll cause all hell to break loose. I somewhat agree with that. Of course, it's possible that all hell will break loose if they try to mess with the dome of the rock. But the same scenario that I'm talking about tonight that has to do with once that once that Iran is taken out completely, as far as the regime taken, not Iran, not the country, not the people, but the regime is taken out. Once the people are restored and we have peace with Israel again, then all the money that's been spent on the wars and all that are going to be gone. It's going to be gone. It's going to be gone. So that's going to bring peace. So it also will weaken the Muslim hierarchy, if you will. When the Muslim hierarchy has been dealt with by dealing with Iran, then it's going to be a lot less dangerous to do away with the Dome of the Rock. I don't know if they're going to do away with the Dome of the Rock. That's there now. It's a Muslim mosque. It's been there for many years. I've been to Israel one time for about a week and a half. I can't remember. A week and a half. Anyway, I was there and you know was in that area, and so I've been there, seen it, and that's been there for many years since Israel moved back into the land. They never did away with it. They kept it there. So it's a really big question behind if they take it out the mosque. What is going to what's that going to create? Well, remember when Trump did when he made changed the capital of Israel? Remember that when he did all that, and they said that would all hell would break loose on that, and it never really did, right? But so I think that once Iran is knocked down and taken over by the regime similar to Azerbaijan, uh, 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 a secular government instead of a religious government, that's going to break that spirit. You see what's happening in Iran right now is that God is using Israel to break the spirit of religion, because that whole government is a religious government, right? So you have a major, large, aggressive, Muslim religious country that if you don't do what we say, we're going to come and get you. That is really been dealt with. Israel and the U.S. helped with that. That has been dealt with so that I'm not saying they're going to have to remove the Dome of the Rock. There's some scripture that says that the Gentiles are going to be there. I don't know what that all means, but the Gentiles are going to be there. I think it's in Revelations 11, where it talks about the Gentiles, don't measure this part because that's Gentiles. Uh, so the Dome of the Rock could still stay there, but if it's going to have to be torn down or removed or blown up by somebody or whatever, I don't know what they're going to do. The Muslims may blow it up. I don't know. I really don't have a word about that. All I know is that once that religious spirit is broken in Iran, Okay, can you guys hear me now? Hello, 1, 2. I think I'm back on again now. Sorry about that. I guess my microphone just went out. I mean, it just went out on me. That is crazy, man. Sorry about that, y'all. Hello, 1, 2. Okay, now we got it right. All right, I got in a little bit closer here. You guys can see. Okay, sorry about that. I'm on now again, right? Okay, sorry about that. Thank you, guys. My microphone just went out. I didn't even know it. If you guys don't tell me, I don't pay attention to that stuff. So thank you for your help on all that. So I don't know what I said the last 5 minutes, but I guess I can repeat some of it. Anybody remember what we said the last 5 minutes? I mean, anybody know what we said before the last 5 minutes? Okay, I don't know either. Sorry about that, y'all. I did not have a clue. Okay, hang on a second here. Hello, 1, 2. Hello, 1, 2. Is that okay? There we go. Okay, I just changed to another microphone. Well, hopefully it's a little bit better. All right. All right. So I don't know what I said the last few minutes, the last 5 minutes. Probably wasn't. Sorry about that, y'all. Hello, 1, 2. Okay. So still on here. Excuse me. Okay, I was probably about the temple. Okay, that's a good guess. Good guessing, Anya. All right, so hopefully, okay, there we go. So we got that going on, and I'm hooked up here. I think I'm with everything. All right, so I'm not sure what I was talking about. So there's God, only God knows for sure. Um, okay, I was talking about how that we built an imagery, like you see the imagery on the screen behind me, right? You see that video. We made that video. That is from an imagery thing that we own here at PGN, and so we made a temple, one with the temple. We made our own with the temple, building temple. We went in there and we cleared off like this is not. This is what the temple looks like. This is kind of an imagery of the that Glenn sent me of the temple, and he's saying here that this is going to be in the way of the mosque, and so they're going to, according to this, they're going to have to remove the mosque, move the mosque to put that in there. So they may have to. And so the thing I was saying about the mosque thing is that the mosque, the Muslim mosque on the platform of the temple is that because Israel has Israel is now making peace with, or they're not making peace. They're going to war with Iran and taking out the regime of Iran, and that's going to bring peace to, because the whole country is a massive country with a lot of money, and they are very strong, very strong-willed, very religious, and they once Iran is taken over and the regime is taken down, then that religious spirit that has been so dominating will now be broken, and they can build, if they have to tear down the mosque, which will be a really difficult thing. With Iran there, they would be attacked all the time because Iran would be feeding all the menace people, the enemies around Israel. They would have been feeding them weapons and money and stuff. But now that Iran's head is being chopped off, basically, sorry for the analogy, but now that the axe is laid to the root, so the financials can't go to the other place. So now they're going to have more strength over the religious spirit of Iran, creating havoc. So if they have to tear down the Dome of the Rock, which they might, then it will be a lot less of a global disaster. It'll be a little blink in the eye, so to speak. So because once they take over the religious spirit in Iran, the aggressive, mean Muslim religious spirit, and they have a government that is secular, that way it will be more peaceful and less aggressive. Take you down. If you mess with our mosque, we're going to kill you. You know, that's going to be over, basically. And it's going to create a whole environment for the temple to be built. And then the Antichrist comes. And then Israel realizes that the Antichrist is not what he says he is, or at least they decide he's not the real Christ or not the Messiah. And they will separate from him. And therefore, that's when all hell's going to break loose. Yeah, so right now they're all going to be buddies. Here in a little bit, they'll be friends, including Persia or Iran. All right, so I hope I explained it pretty well. Also, the prophetic act that we did, I don't know if y'all heard this part of this, the prophetic act that we did with building our own imagery, like this right here, you see behind me. We this is ours, this belongs to us. We made this with the imagery platform. And we have people building the temple in that. And so we said we were doing that as a prophetic act. And I was saying how cool it is that when we did that prophetic act of literally building the temple by imagery and then showing it on our shows several times, that now we've had some breakthroughs, you know. So the reason that so now you're starting to see another acceleration of the temple being built after we did the prophetic act. That's what I'm saying. And so I said the reason that I have authority in that area to do that, to have anybody could do quote a prophetic act. And it may mean something, it may not mean anything. But with me, I have the authority given to me from God through Michael, and through Michael's intervention, that he tells me stuff that's going on. Therefore, I have the authority to do a prophetic act given to me by God through Michael, right? Michael, who's the head archangel over Israel that protects Israel. And I have that authority through him to do prophetic acts over Israel. So when we did that prophetic act, the Lord said, just start tearing down the old platform and do an imagery thing on that. And so I did, and then build in the Holy of Holies. And I did that. And I kind of stopped with that in that particular part. And so, you know, we ran that on the show several times saying it's a prophetic act. And so I said, this is not really happening, y'all. Because when it came on there, I said, no, this is not really happening. This is an imagery thing that I made, right? That we made here at PGN. So please don't think it's just actually going on, because I didn't want to stir up, you know, stuff. So again, the reason that I have the authority to do that and that it actually works, the prophetic acts that God gives me, like the gold and silver prophetic act that we did on October the 4th, 2023, did on October 4th, 2023, did a prophetic act that the gold and silver is about to be the currency for the globe, basically. And I told you that was a prophetic act that we did. That was given to me by Michael. Michael the Archangel gave me the downloaded the authority to me to do that, because when I got the angel that I believe, I didn't see him, I believe that the angel that gave me the authority to have the market mantle was him, even though I never saw him. I only heard the voice of an angel, or the voice of the voice of God. It sounded like an innocent child talking to me, and I think it was Michael. And so the mantle that I have for the market, which has to do with the economies of the globe. Wait till I tell you all everything. Oh, you're gonna love it. I think you'll love it. You might not. The authority I have over the economies of the world through all that, through Michael, because it's all centered around Jerusalem and Israel. The global economies of the world are eventually going to be centered around the Jerusalem and Israel and all that. That's why this is important, because we're talking about your money, honey. So the market mantle came from Michael, I believe. I have no proof of that. That's because after I had a conversation with him, that's when all this stuff started happening to me. Right. So you can see what I'm talking about. He has the authority. He has so much power, he's going to cast Satan out of heaven. That's how much power my friend Michael has. I mean, the dude is like, wow. He's like scary, man. When he came in the dream vision, when he sat there and stared at me, I was kind of like going, I knew it was Michael. I mean, in the dream, you know things, right? And I knew he's looking at me like, he just stared at me like, who is this guy? He really took a really good look at me. I mean, it was kind of scary. Didn't say a word. Did not say a word. Just checking me out. Oh my God. And then when I don't want to talk about that. It was scary, man. Scary in a good way. I've had some scary in a good way experiences that have been a little bit, more than what I'm asking for. I'm not asking for any of it actually, but it's just whatever. I start talking about something and I stop because it's just too much. Yeah, it's just too much. No, I got to be careful what I say. It's just way too much. So, y'all, this is what's going on at PGN, Prophetic Grace Network. So there's so much, man. There's so much, and when I can tell you everything, I have to, Anyway, okay. So there we go. So David Turner says, doing the practice run on the red heifer was like the priest did not do it right in Scripture, so they had to do it again. That's a great question, man. I love this guy. He says, David, I've never talked to David before. His first time doing it. He said, doing the practice run on the red heifer was like the priest did not do it right in Scripture, so they had to do it again. I love it. That is so cool. That's such a great question. I love it, man. Well, I don't know. What I heard about that was there's because they haven't done it in 2,000 years, dude. Come on, give them a break. You know what I mean? Give them a break, man. Golly. So yeah, they had to practice. So the problem is they didn't know how the priest did it 2,000 years ago. Exactly. I mean, exactly. Precisely. They really didn't know, 2,000 years, man. I mean, they have these brand new priests, which have never, they got born at home. They didn't get born in hospitals where there's death. They've never touched anything dead. They were very highly watched over. And so these priests that did this, I mean, these guys had never done it before. So it's kind of like, saying, can you play football? If you watch the football players play, and what's the matter? They weren't good enough, so you had to do it again. Like, now doing it again here was practice. They were practicing, just like when I hadn't played ball all year long back in my high school days. and play ball, all year long. You come back and start playing. You got to get your muscles going. You got to figure. You got to. Oh yeah, the play. Yeah, and you learn how to. You start warming up. Dude, come on, give these brothers a break, man. They've never done. This is a holy thing, right? This is a holy thing, and they haven't done it in 2,000 years. So you might say that that's kind of like a little practice run. And so they said they did pretty good. They said it came out pretty good. That the priest did good. There was no incidents. There was no, it's just like you think you know how you're going to do something until you start doing it. And 2,000 years ago, like they didn't have videos, so they could read it. They can read it, but then actually doing it after 2,000 years is like, wow, man. How are we going to do every little detail, every little, how sharp the knife is. I don't know what all it is. And yeah, so yeah, I guess they had to practice because they weren't sure how they did it exactly, precisely 2,000 years ago. Yeah. So I think that's probably right. They practiced a little bit because they didn't know for sure. Okay, awesome. Good question. There's no question. I mean, sometimes I don't know either, I'm like, great question. But I happened to see the video today about it. And Archangel Michael is probably the main host of the other angels. I don't know. That's a good question, Anya. Michael the Archangel is probably the main host of the other angels. You know what, girl? You think I would know that? I think you're right because he if you see in scripture, he's the one who cast Satan down out of heaven. He's the one who does that. So he's one powerful dude, and he has a bunch of people working with him, I'm sure. But since Mike, let me just read that scripture real quick. That practice run. Dude, you're cracking me up, man. That's such a great question. I love that. Because they didn't know what they were doing. No, these guys don't know what they're doing for sure. I mean, I'm still trying to work that through my mind. Your little question is really great. Okay, let's go here and witnesses killed. Let's go here. Revelations 12. Okay, Revelations 12. Okay, here it is. Verse 7, Revelations 12, verse 7. This may tell us something, Anya, we'll see. And war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels, so he's got and his angels, fought with the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought. So the devil has his people, his angels, and Michael has his angels. So yeah, he probably is. I think you're right. It says right there. Michael and his angels fought with the dragon, which is the serpent. Fly landed on my head. So, but they did not prevail. Satan and his dragon and his angels fought, but the devil did not prevail and his angels, nor was a place found for them in heaven any longer. There's some heavy meat right there. I'm going to have to look into that. So the great dragon was cast out by who? Michael, that serpent of old, called the devil and Satan, who deceives the whole world, and was cast to the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. So that says Michael, because we're talking about the devil, we're talking about the dragon himself, right? Not some demons or whatever. We're talking about Satan himself. And I've seen Satan himself. I've seen him in a dream vision. God gives me some very clear dreams. I never forget them. I mean, there's such like I see him right now. My mind looks so clear. But I've seen the devil. I know what the devil looks like, and I think God showed me what the devil looked like so that I could identify him. Okay. Okay. All right. So Glenn says, David, I believe that I believe they knew it was disqualified and wanted to see if there would be any backlash from them simply doing the ceremony. I'm sure they did. I'm sure they didn't say, "Oopsie" on the heifer being okay. I don't think you. Yeah, they knew the heifer wasn't any good. Did you not? Did you not know that already? Did I not say that already? Yeah, it was a practice run on a heifer that they knew was not good. Right. That's why they did one. It was a practice run. I don't know why they just hit me. It's just, I'm sorry, man. Or I'm not really sorry, but anyway. Yeah. So yeah, it was a practice run. They knew the heifer was not good, but the ceremony part was the part that I think they wanted to work on. It's just kind of like doing a play. I mean, you can read all the script about a play. I mean, I've been in plays before. I wasn't very good, but I was in them when I was in high school. And you can read the script that they did 10 years ago, and say, yeah, but it's one thing, and then you're just gonna jump and do it before people when you haven't practiced. Come on, Dave, gotta give him a break, man. That's really cool. So yeah, it's kind of like doing a play, and you've read the play, you know what it says in your mind, you know the details, but then when you get out there and you start doing it, like I played the guy Schroeder who played the piano, and Schroeder, remember Schroeder and Charlie, the Charlie Peanut, this is Peanut and Schroeder, and I was in that play, and I was a piano player. And you get out there, you think, "Am I doing this right?" No, don't do it like that. Do it like it looks more real. Like you saying, it is working on it. Um, so yeah, they're looking very closely at the animals every day. That's true. They are doing. That's what Glenn's saying. Prophecy Watch is saying that. Yeah, they're watching. They're really watching everything close every day, and they've already bred a more. They've already bred more red heifers. So we're just hoping that this is the one. Uh, yeah, but Texas has sent uh, more. What's the word? Ability for them to get pregnant again, and they did that a long time ago. So they have new heifers growing. They probably don't want anybody to know where they're at, but they've had brand new heifers growing for a couple of years. So they didn't just grow those and say that's it, man, because they knew that there would be problems. These are wise. These are wise people. They're like wise virgins. They're not just going to think everything's going to go fine. And not. They prepared for this. They are very prepared. So they already have new red heifers, and that even if they weren't able to do the red heifer thing for a year, which we hope that won't be true, uh, the pool of Siloam is not even ready yet. So the pool of Siloam it will be ready in about a year and a half, 2 years. It will be ready. That it's not the pool itself that's not ready. It's uh, what I understand, it's not the pool itself that's not ready. It is uh, the pathway that people walk down once they cleanse themselves and walk toward the temple. That's what's being finished, being built. That's what I understand. I have pretty good source on that, and they're saying that what's left to finish is just the pathway that people walk on, the road to the temple. All right, Jephthah's daughter is the virgin in the book of Judges. She went up and down the mountain for 2 months, just as Moses. Therefore, they have 4 days a year to lament her death. About what? I mean, for what? Dude, you're doing that thing again, man. And there you go. Awesome. Okay, so I know you're going somewhere, but I don't know if we can follow you there or not because I don't know where you're going. If an athlete can practice, Glenn says, they feel more comfortable trying the real thing. Yeah, I used to play. I think the play thing is better than your athlete thing, but it's pretty cool. I'm just kidding you, man. I'm just kidding you. I thought the play thing was much better. Yeah, but that's really good. But you're right. It is exactly right. An athlete, they get there and they know how they played ball last year, right? Like what I was talking about back in high school. I remember, from year to year, you have to get back out there and practice again, man. All right, he knows that. David knows that. He's just being inquisitive and trying to help us understand, helping us think about some stuff, and we appreciate that. All right. Anya says Satan is a big loser. He fell on his head and is confused and thinks he will win. That's a good point. That is a really good point. And David, really awesome information about Jephthah's daughter is the virgin. I'm sure I've read that, but I don't remember it. I'll have to go back and look at that. That's awesome information. I'm just not sure where you're going with it, but so cool, man. Very, very cool. Glad to have people commenting here. Thanks for everybody's comments. Anya also says the Archangel Michael is probably the main host of the angels. I think we answered that question. I think pretty much from Revelation chapter 12. All right. Very, very cool. Very cool questions, answers, all that. Really great. So, all right. I have a lot more. I don't want to get started on this other stuff because I'm not getting tired, but I'm getting kind of like, ready to wind down a little bit. So we've been on since 8 o'clock. So it's about 3 hours almost. So if you guys got anything cool to say or any questions, maybe you don't like what we're saying, you're welcome to say what you want to say. I may argue with you. I may want to duke it out with you. I may want to duke it. I may have to duke it. You may have to duke me, but it'll be fun. We'll have fun with it. All right. So Marissa Mariposa thought it happened on the 1st. So we know it happened in July, the first week of July, probably. For sure. Because I had it on the 7th. So I think we got that figured out. All right. So really cool. The Pool of Siloam. We talked about the pool. I'm going to talk about the Pool of Siloam pretty soon. I'm trying to wrap my head around when I want to do it. There's a lot of information, a lot of cool information. I think it's cool. In light of the fact that everything's going on, and in the light of the fact that we did a prophetic act about that, and because God's given me the authority to do that, I know when He tells me to do something like that, that's something, He's having me do it for a reason, and it's something's going to break loose because of His word, not my word, but His word that He has me do. Okay, to make sure we really understand clearly what I'm saying. I don't have. Okay, wow. Okay. So, anybody have anything else you want to say or talk about? Or I have a lot I want to share, but I don't want to get it's the subjects. We try to stick with the subjects and not get too spread out on them. Let me see. There's somebody else with David. Thank you, Angel, for being on with us tonight. Okay, Lori came on with us tonight. Shared about the famine thing. That was cool. Okay, I think there's somebody else in here that I'm missing. Lori Morse. Okay. Famine. I think that's it. I think I've talked to everybody and tried to answer those questions the best I could. You're doing pretty good, actually. Chris Burke. Okay, Chris Burke. Okay, Chris, you came on. Chris Burke said, "Amen, amen." I knew there was somebody else I was missing. All right, Chris, I don't know if you're showing or not, but thank you for being on with us. And cool. All right. All right, y'all. If nobody else has anything else to say, I'm going to call it a night. This has been great. We'll be on tomorrow night. We're on every, Anya says, great night, Randy. Yes, thank you. All right, thank you too. So we have covered a lot of information. A lot of it we Cheryl says hello. Hey, Cheryl from Florida. All right, good to have you tonight. Hey, what's up? Good to have you. Any questions? You have any questions? Anybody has any questions or any answers or something else you want to talk about? I might not be able to talk about it tonight. We might talk about it if I have anything. But so okay, okay, David. I don't know. I don't know where you're going with all that. That when you say that information, it makes no sense at all unless we know where you're going with all of it. So you see what I'm saying? Like that means nothing to me. I mean, it's cool information, but it means nothing to me as far as I'm just reading stuff. I don't know why I'm reading it. I'm not going to do that. You'll tell me where we're going with all that. Again, I'm getting lost on that. I just don't read information to read it. All right, I want to know kind of where we're going with it. All right, so if you could do that, that'd be great. One more thing, did you hear anything about the Denair? People have been buying a lot. No, I've never heard anything about the Denair. That was a Kim Clement word. That was given a long time ago. That's wow. I was going to East Texas when that was going out because I remember one of the pastors that I was when I ministered in Marshall, Texas. Uh, he had invested a lot in that, and nothing's ever happened with it. No, I haven't heard anything about the Denair, and I learned better than to say that ain't going to happen because but I don't know, man. That one just really baffled me. I never got any information about it. Thank you for all the birthday wishes, Nikki. She never did tell us she was 25 or 35, but it doesn't matter because we still love her anyway. Our sister in the Lord. Yeah, thank you. And we had a few birthday wishes for you tonight. Thank God for that. Thanks for coming on. And tell Charles we said he better have you a big bunch of something going on over there, or else I will come in. I don't know if I'll be able to come over there, but you know what I'm saying we're going to send some stuff his way. Okay. Okay, just asking. Yeah, no, Anya, sorry, I don't have anything on that. I know that Kim Clement gave a word about that, and I have never heard one thing about that. And I have a market mantle which deals with stuff, and not that I get everything. Of course, I don't get everything, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't even want to talk about that one. I hope it comes for the people investing in it. Of course, you hope they get blessed. I've had people send me Denair. In fact, we have a friend from Nebraska that sent me some Denair. I have it. I think I have it somewhere. Little dollar bill looking things. They're dinar from. Yeah, she sent me. I'm double nickels. Oh, okay. I don't even know what that is. I'm not going to say because I don't know what that is. I was that a long time ago. So you're very young. That is young, girl. Very, very young. Wow. Oh, to be 55 again. Oh, what? Oh my gosh, I said it. Okay, well, you said it. So hey, what's wrong with that? Nothing. Okay, y'all. It's been really great tonight, and had a lot of fun. And I love sharing this stuff. I just try to throw in what I know and let other people throw in what they know. And David keeps coming up with this really cool information, but I'm not even. Okay, I just said goodnight on the turbo. So let's good night on that. All right, y'all. I guess I'm going to call it a night tonight. I guess nobody else has anything else to say. David keeps sharing that stuff with me. I don't know where he's going with that. Really cool information, though, about purification and awesome. I love the information.
but it's not saying anything. You're not saying anything as far as what all that means, other than it's just really cool info, which it is. Anytime the Bible is a really cool info. All right, so practice on that a little bit more, brother David, and let me know. I mean, I'm a very spiritual. I'm a very much into science, symbols, and I'm very much into all that stuff, big time. But you know, so whatever, cool info. All right, everybody. I guess we're gonna call it a night. Thank you very much for everything, and we will talk to you guys. Play a song, please. What song would you like, Anya? What song would you like? No, no way. I'm gonna play the Jesus Train. Okay, let's do it. And if yeah, I love the. I know that's one of my favorites. It's so hip hoppity. Good night, we all. Okay, I'm gonna play the Jesus Train before we go. And if Anya has a song, we can do that too. Um, the Jesus Train. Make sure I get the right one. Let's see if this one over here. Yeah.
Like a little girl living in a great big world. Took the Jesus train in my midnight hour, safe from devour. Just an insignificant guy. I don't know where to fly. Got on the Jesus train in my darkest hour. A worshiper in a worship room, looking round at sounds that boomed. People looking up and all around for someone to worship with on the Jesus train. All aboard the Jesus train, hearts united in His name, lifting voices, joining hands, rolling through the promised land. Spirit guides us through the night, faith's our compass shining bright. Every mile brings something new as we worship me and you. All aboard the Jesus train, love eternal breaks these chains, finding purpose, finding place in this holy meeting place. All aboard the Jesus train, love eternal breaks these chains, finding purpose, finding grace in this holy meeting place.
All right, the Jesus Train. That's a PGN song. All right, says Randy has the best song. Thank you for that. I will definitely take that. We have the best song. Thank you, and we appreciate that very, very much. And yeah, we can play some more songs if you want. If you got a song you think you might want to play, these are PGN songs. We own these songs. We put them together, if you will, and wrote them. And yeah, all right, let's play another one. What else can we play? Somebody else give me some ideas. Ka-ching, ka-ching. This is pretty good. The ka-ching, ka-ching song. Let's see. Let's do this ka-ching, ka-ching. Let freedom ring. All right, here we go.
I am a victim of my DNA, passed down on me to stay. Looks like gonna have to pay. See the doctor, he asked me the same. Who in the blood we gonna blame? Who in your bloodline died of the same? As I walked out the door, I felt the shame. Mother, she had the same. I called on God, he told me the same. Without the payment, it all remains the same. Jesus said, I'll take the blame, so no one else bears the shame. Come to me to pay. I give it all to all for free. Ka-ching, ka-ching, let freedom ring. Chains are broken, hearts are free. Ka-ching, ka-ching, new life begins. Paid in full for you and me. His blood flows pure and true, making everything brand new. Breaking chains of destiny, setting generations free. Chains are broken, hearts are free. Ka-ching, 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 new life begins. Paid in full for you and me. Ka-ching, ka-ching, let freedom ring. Chains are broken, hearts are free. Ka-ching, ka-ching, new life begins. Paid in full for you and me. Ka-ching, ka-ching, let freedom ring. Chains are broken, hearts are free. Ka-ching, ka-ching, new life begins. I paid in full for you and me. His blood flows pure and true, making everything brand new. Breaking chains of destiny, setting generations free.
Awesome. How about this one?
When I did come short to love and compassion, you would resort. You turned everything for good, just like you promised you would. Your mercy makes a way. Your grace new every covered me with grace. Ooh.
All right, love that one. How about this one?
Jesus said to me in the purest of love, have a seat with me, watch the show from above. I'll show you everything you'll need to know, the places you're gonna go. You're no longer in the dark, on you is a brand new mark, set apart unto the Lord with a brand new heart. Seated with me is the victory now. My will you can't see, so get up and walk in what you now see. Seated with me in the heavenlies, seated with me in the heavenlies, seated with me in the heavenlies. Jesus said to me in the purest of love, have a seat with me. Ah, Jesus said to me in the purest of love, have a seat with me and watch the show from above. I'll show you everything you'll need to know, the places you're gonna go. You're no longer in the dark, on you is a brand new mark, set apart unto the Lord with a brand new heart. Seated with me is the victory now. My will you can't see, so get up and walk in what you now see. Seated with me in the heavenlies, seated with me in the heavenlies, seated with me in the heavenlies. Jesus with me in the heavenlies. Now see, no, no, will, yeah, no. Jesus with me in the victory. Now my will you can see, so get up and walk in what you now see. Seated with me in the heavenlies. 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 You're seated with me in the victory. Now, my will you can see, so get up and walk in what you now see. Seated with me in the heavenlies, seated with me in the heavenlies. Go! Heavenlies! Go! Thank you, Billy.
All right, how about loving you is loving me?
Mirror reflections as I look at you, shows me the beauty of two. Loving you, I love myself. My love no longer on the shelf. From my rib, bone of my bone, I know I'll never be alone.
We are one. Look what God has done. You are the beautiful part of me. I'm so glad that part of me I now can see. When I love you, I love myself. Like treasures hidden on a shelf. Every kindness that I show helps my own heart to grow and grow and grow. Seeing the beauty of who you are, shining bright like a star, reflecting the light of my love. With new wings I fly. When you love me, I love me more. This circle of love we share makes us both stronger than before. When I love you, I love myself. When you love me, I love me more. This circle of love we share makes us both stronger than before. Crawling slow upon the earth, bound to dirt with all my hurt, yearning for a second. Crawling slow upon the earth, bound to dirt with all my hurt, yearning for a second birth, a new beginning starts to stir. In order to fly, part of me had to die. My outer death opened what was left inside. The natural gave new wings to fly. The supernatural lifts me high. From shadow into light, from weakness into flight. Every change that sets us free shows what we were meant to be. Something stirring deep within, breaking free from what has been. What is this new life I feel? Heaven's touch begins to heal, breaking through my sheltered space. Change is dawning with such grace. In my struggle to break free, new strength flows abundantly. Empty vessels filled with water, standing still while dreams still falter. Need a touch of something higher to ignite divine desire. From shadow into light, from weakness into flight. Every change that sets us free shows what we were meant to be. Faith transforms what follows after. Simple substance turned to treasure, like the water into wine. Ordinary turns divine. In the waiting, in the changing, something greater is arranging every moment, every pillars of butterflies, from water into sacred wine. Every change that sets us free shows what we were meant to be.
All right, that was Butterfly, Water to Wine, whatever you want to call it. Some people like to just call it Butterfly Song. Thank you very much for that. How about the Tango Song? This is a cool song.
The two-edged sword comes from the Lord. It will cut away things that want to come aboard, that don't belong to get along. As you sing this song, the super and the natural all in one. The two get along as day is done, cutting away everything that won't fit. The new candle lit must burn bright, trimming of the wick turn shadows into light. All the things that make us sick, the two-edged sword cuts through the veil that keeps us back, keeps us apart. Join us together, never to depart. The two become one, the human and the spirit. By the spirit we overcome, super and the natural, super and the natural. The two become one, the human and the spirit. By the spirit we overcome, super and the natural, super and the natural.
When you have Jesus, blood running through your veins, you never, never are the same. His DNA is making you new, making a whole new you. New, because the old you is passed away. The new you is singing this song. New belongs to God, recreated in His likeness by His Spirit and blood that is through your veins. With Jesus' blood, you know never the same. No, never the same. When you have Jesus' blood running through your veins, you never, never are the same. His DNA is making you new, making a whole new you. New because the old
never the same.
No, never the same.
When you have Jesus, blood running through your veins, you never, never are the same.
His DNA is making you new, making a whole new you. New, because the old you has passed away. The new you is singing this song. New belongs to God, recreated His likeness by the Spirit and blood that runs through your veins. With Jesus' blood, you're no, never the same. I'm never the same. I'm never the same.
Oh, my beloved son, to my dear daughter, this I do recommend to you. I do. You are. Want you to encaping with the prophecies that the prophet words, personal prophecies given, yes, spoken about, spoken over you, over you, so that by the you may win all your battles, meditate your, recall, yes, those words from your father, from your loving Father. You have been recreated, yes, recreated, oh yes, recreated for oral victory, for glorious victory, victory. My dear child, from your father with love, follow these instructions, 1 Timothy 1 verse 18. My dear child, from your father with love, follow these instructions, 1 Timothy 1 verse 18. My dear child, from your father with love, follow these instructions, 1 Timothy 1 verse 18. My dear child, from your father with love, follow these instructions, 1 Timothy 1 verse 18. Meditate your, recall, yes, those words from your father, from your loving Father. You have been recreated, yes, recreated, oh yes, recreated for oral victory, for glorious victory, victory. My dear child, from your father with love, follow these instructions, 1 Timothy 1 verse 18. My dear child, from your father with love, follow these instructions, 1 Timothy 1 verse 18. My dear child, from your father with love, follow these instructions, 1 Timothy 1 verse 18. My dear child, from your father with love, follow these instructions, 1 Timothy 1 verse 18. To my beloved son, to my dear daughter, this I do recommend to you. I do, you want you to engage with the prophecies, the prophetic words, the personal prophecies given, yes, spoken about, spoken over you, over you. So that by them, you may win all your battles, meditate your,
Oh, recall, oh, yes, all those words from your father, from your loving Father. You have been recreated, yes, recreated. Oh, yes, recreated for oral victory, for glorious victory, victory. My dear child, from your father, follow these instructions. 1 Timothy 1 verse 18. My dear child, from your father, follow these instructions. 1 Timothy 1 verse 18. My dear child, from your father, follow these instructions. 1 Timothy 1 verse 18. 1 verse 18. My dear child, from your father, follow these instructions. 1 Timothy 1 verse 18. 1 verse 18. Oh, my beloved son. Born anew, I'm on my journey new. In the misty dawn, the train set sail through rolling hills and valleys wide, the rhythm of the wheels, a soothing tale. In this journey we'll confide a brand new resolute heart, never to break. In this realm of dreams we'll stay, with every step a new path we make, as we follow the sun's golden ray. In the depths of night we'll find our way. In this world he's made me pure and true. Whispers of the wind, a gentle breeze. In this world so vast and grand, a symphony of heaven's nature, a sweet release as we traverse this wondrous land. A pure new resolute heart, never to break. In this realm of dreams we'll stay, with every step a new path we make, as we follow the sun's golden ray. In the depths of night we'll find our way. In this world he's made me so pure and true. In the shadows I was searching for the light, with a promise spoken deep into the night. You laid down your life, a sacrifice so grand. In your blood, a new life for us to stand. The old is gone, the new has come alive. Through your grace, my spirit will thrive. You gave it all, your life, your blood, a new code written in a sacred flood. With every drop I rise and I see, in your love I am truly free. DNA transformed, washed clean by your love, guided by the truth that comes from above. In your veins there's healing, a divine embrace.
I'm redeemed, restored, covered by your grace. A new beginning, let the old pass by. In your presence, I am free to fly. You gave it all, your life, your blood, a new code written in a sacred flood. With every drop I rise and I see, in your love, I am truly free. I'm my Savior, I'm alive in you. With your blood, I am made new. In your veins is healing, but I divine embrace. Ooh, oh my Savior, I'm alive in you. With your blood, I am made new. DNA transformed, washed clean by your love, guided by the truth that comes from above. In your veins there's healing, a divine embrace. I'm redeemed, restored, covered by your grace. A new beginning, let the old pass by. In your presence I am free to fly. A new beginning, let the old pass by. In your presence I am free to fly. You gave it all, your life, your blood, a new code written in the sacred flood. With every drop I rise and I see, in your love I am truly free. I'm truly free. Oh my Savior, I'm alive in you. With your blood I am made new. I am made new. I am made new.
Walking this road we call life. No one ever really walks alone, but we all have a path to choose. Whether it's right or it's wrong, eventually we all find our way home. I started this path some time ago. Sometimes high, sometimes low, sometimes not knowing which way to go. But I thank you, God, for the rain. Helps me to appreciate the sunshine. When I feel I've lost my way, you let me know that you're still mine. And when I'm not feeling okay, you reassure me things are just fine. And I thank you for the rain. Shadows, dark clouds hover around. I wondered if I'd be lost or found. This old road seems so dark now. So many tears fell from my eyes. So many times I asked why, because I didn't understand that these trials were not about me, but who you were shaping me to be, allowing my spirit to be free. So I thank you, God, for the rain. Helps me to appreciate the sunshine. When I feel I've lost my way, you let me know that you're still mine. And when I'm not feeling okay, you reassure me things are just fine. And I thank you for the rain. So I thank you, God, for the rain. Helps me to appreciate the sunshine. When I feel I've lost my way, you let me know that you are still mine. And when I'm not feeling okay, you reassure me things are just fine. And I thank you for the rain. Thank you.
I carried the weight of broken dreams, the thorns of betrayal, the silent screams, held pride in my hands like a fading flame, till mercy called out and whispered my name. I count it all as done, every sorrow, every song unsung. You are my treasure, bright and true. I lose it all for the worth of you. Joy is rising, peace is breaking through. I lose it all for the worth of you. The trophies I built, the scars I wore, the nights full of questions I can't keep anymore. You gather my ashes and breathe in your grace. Now hope is my banner and love is my place. I count it all as done, every sorrow, every song unsung. You are my treasure, bright and true. I lose it all for the worth of you. Joy is rising, peace is breaking through. I lose it all for the worth of you. Oh, the rivers of mercy have washed me clean, from the chains of my past to the hope unseen. You are my crown, my life anew. Nothing compares to the joy of you. I count it all as done, every sorrow, every song unsung. You are my treasure, bright and true. I lose it all for the worth of you. Joy is rising, peace is breaking through. I lose it all for the worth of you. Oh yeah, I lose it all for the worth of you.
I, John, am the one who heard and saw all these things. Let all on the earth and in heaven sing. Jesus is the source of David and heir to his throne. If you find and follow Jesus, you will never be alone. He is the bright morning star. He is the God who's never far. The Spirit and the bride say, come. Let anyone who hears this
Four of us in the fire, our thoughts never seem to waver. We had the protection of our godly Savior. There's another one in the fire. The feeling is love and protection is our only desire. We were not hurt or harmed by the fiery furnace. We made the King a believer. Walked out the furnace, no brain fever. Another one in the fire, oh yeah. Taking us higher, taking us higher. Another one in the fire, taking us higher. There's another one in the fire. Put our trust in the Lord and He is taking us higher. Our words turn to actions, we all stay true. Came out that furnace feeling brand new. Four of us in the fire, our thoughts never seem to waver. We had the protection of our godly Savior. There's another one in the fire. The feeling is love and protection is our only desire. We were not hurt or harmed by the fiery furnace. We made the King a believer. Walked out the furnace, no brain fever. Another one in the fire, oh, taking us higher, taking us higher. Another one in the fire, taking us higher. There's another one in the fire. Put our trust in the Lord and He is taking us higher. Our words turn to action, we all stand true. And out that tunnel's feeling the moon. And just another one in the fire. Taking us high from something the Lord and needs, taking us higher. Our words turn to actions, we all stay true. Came out the furnace feeling brand new. There's another one in the fire. There's another one in the fire. Every day is a day to rejoice, so rejoice. Every day Jesus makes a way to this day to rejoice. For this is the day that the Lord has made, and I shall rejoice. Rejoice. Wake up, you sleeping people of God. Glorify His name. Because our day will never be the same when we rejoice
and glorify his name. Rejoice in the Lord, all ye people, and praise his holy name. For he is the King of kings, and he is the Lord of lords. So rejoice in the Lord, because Jesus makes a way when we rejoice in the day that he has made. So rejoice. Jesus is Lord, so I rejoice, because my day will never be the same when I rejoice and glorify his name. So rejoice. So rejoice. And life will never be the same. Life will never be the same when I glorify his name. So I rejoice. 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 Jesus is Lord, so I rejoice. And life will never be the same. Life will never be the same when I glorify his name. So I rejoice. Rejoice.
All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you.